We'll have order tonight that's here. You come to speak, we're willing to listen to you. But I do want you to know what I know about this situation. I was contacted earlier in the week that there was a possibility of an ICE facility coming to our county. So I reached out to the sheriff, and the sheriff said, I have no clue of what you're talking about. Reached out to the 3 mayors and talked to them. Nobody had any clue at all. I said, well, they're talking about a couple of buildings that possibly are on 109. The mayor then said, the mayor of Lebanon said, now there's a DHL that's trying to purchase those 2 buildings. Could that have been confused for DHS? So we began to check with the property assessor, the trustee, to try to find any record at all of any transfer of deed. That's not happened. That hadn't happened as of today. We checked again. So then we kind of dismissed that. And then on Friday, we got a call from a reporter from Lookout, Tennessee. And she said that she had heard that there was one coming here. So we said, can you clarify that? And so there was some confusion about Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. She reached back out to them, and they said, no, we're talking Lebanon, Tennessee as well. So we continued to look and continue to reach out to the people that were above us. Now, as you come here tonight, and this is completely fine, but the Wilson County Commission has no jurisdiction over anything that may go in the city of Lebanon. But your voice being heard is completely fine. But we said, okay, let's continue to see what we can find. So we reached out to every official that we knew to reach out to. And even as late as of today, we have no confirmation that any buildings have been purchased here in our county. There's been a speculation of several places that we've ruled out as well. The one that's had the most hits has been the one on 109. But again, our joint economic development person reached out to them. They said there are no contracts there. They have not sold it. We reached out to our register of deeds and our property assessor. Again, they find nothing there as well. Now, they could be under NDA to where they can't say that, but there has been no transactions as of today. Just a while ago, I was told that, yes, they're coming, and then I was told Senator Mark Pody that they said they retracted everything and they wasn't coming, and he sent me an email of that. So I really do not know if they're coming or not. This body tonight can listen to your comments, but they have no vote and no say-so in that. Your wishes are important for them to hear. I think it shows by the number of people here probably where you stand at. I will ask you to, if you don't mind, at some point move out in the hallway there because of the fire codes that I'm sure I'm probably going to hear from here in just a few minutes. But we're going to start our meeting in just a minute. And we're going to start out with a prayer, and then we'll go to public comment. But I'm going to ask you to be respectful. You have 3 minutes to talk if you talk. If somebody else has already covered what you're going to say, then please do not repeat that. Talking about the situation itself, name calling and that stuff, we do not allow here in the commission room. And I want it to be a peaceful conversation for you and for our commission to hear what you have to say. I would ask that you would honor those wishes and be respectful as we listen to those that are on my list here tonight to talk. I wish I had better information for you, but all I can confirm is that no buildings have been purchased. I can't say that they're not trying to purchase any. I do not know that at all. I do know that probably for a facility of what they're talking about, it couldn't happen in the county because we have no sewer system to be able to handle something of that nature. But again, those are all speculations, and so we will start tonight as we've called the meeting to order. And Commissioner Hobbs, you have the prayer and the pledge for tonight. Please rise.
I'd like to introduce Commander Lee Bowling from Wilson County Emergency Management. He's going to lead us in prayer and pledge.
Let's pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both, men. Thank you. I again will ask you to please be respectful. That is all I'm asking. Please press yes on your panel to record your presence in tonight's meeting. Mr. Gentry's not here. What you got?
24 present, 1 absent.
24 present, 1 absent. At this time, we will do public comment period. I'll ask you to state your name and address for the record as you stand at the very beginning. And I will call Paige Cook. Sorry, Commissioner.
Well, I was going to move a point of order.
Yes, sir.
Just so we get this right, TCA governs the rules for our speaking in public place. And I was often told that you have to look at the shalls and the mays when you read this. So I want to read, if you turn to your hymnal, your TCA hymnal to chapter 844, 112. It says, a governing body shall, for each public meeting, reserve a period for public comment to provide the public with the opportunity to comment on matters that are germane to the items on the agenda for the meeting. It also says, it also goes on to say, the governing body shall take all practical steps to ensure that opposing viewpoints are represented fairly, if any. And so my question is, and by the way, I don't want a detention facility in my district. Okay, this isn't about that. I want to make sure we abide by Tennessee law, because if we do want to do a resolution, I want to abide by the standards that they give us for the proper public hearing.
We have allowed people to talk in here that was things that were not on our agenda in the past, and that's happened a few times recently. That is the public chapter that says must be germane to the agenda. It's like that because there's no sense to hear a lot of conversation about something that we're not voting on. But we have allowed people to do that in the past, and I will lean to you, Mayor, if you have a comment that you want me to avert doing this.
Well, I would tell you, Commissioner Franklin's right. That's what the law says, and we don't have anything on the agenda tonight about ICE.
Can't hear you.
Nothing.
Sorry, we can't hear you. Can you turn on your mic?
The mayor asked me a question, I'm answering.
Okay, and then we have to off the mic.
Commissioner Franklin has stated the correct interpretation of the law. We have nothing on the agenda tonight about ICE. Never have. We don't have any authority.
Mayor, may I go on? If there are opposing views in our community, I can't think of anybody that I know that wants a facility like this, but who knows? We're supposed to protect the minority. You do? And we did not publicly notice this properly.
It's my opinion that we will start public comment period unless my commission tells me not to do so. If so, again, I ask you to be respectful. Keep your comments to yourself. If you want to talk at the mic, you have this opportunity to do that. And I'm going to move with Dr. Sabrina Buer. Please step forward to the mic. State your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes, and then we'll move from there.
You changed it. I think she was called on first, Paige Cook.
Oh, my bad. I just changed papers. My bad. Paige, come on.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Paige Cook. I live at 4004 Ethan Avenue in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I'm also a 2026 candidate for County Commissioner of District 3. Recently, as we all know, reports have circulated that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has purchased a facility in Wilson County that may be used as a detention center operated by ICE. I understand that the local representatives have not been able to confirm the exact details about this, but I do have copies of that email that Mayor Hutto referenced, where Paige Hughes, a spokesperson for ICE since 2018, did confirm with a local reporter that they have every intention of moving forward with a facility in Lebanon, Tennessee. In other communities, facilities like this have become operational within days of local government being notified. This news also comes shortly after the Wilson County Sheriff's Office signed a 287G agreement to cooperate with ICE, which is why so many of us are concerned. If there's even a possibility this facility could open in Wilson County, the public deserves to know what proactive steps are being taken now. What communication has occurred between federal and local offices? What legal authority do we have in this situation, which I know Mayor Hutto spoke to a little bit? What contingency plan is underway to address potential impacts on roads, utilities, emergency services? Because once a facility like this is operational, the effects are no longer theoretical. Increased transportation needs, greater strain on fire, EMS, and healthcare systems, strain on our already struggling infrastructure that is paid for by local taxpayers. Even if the federal government operates the facility, the surrounding community absorbs many of the secondary impacts. Beyond infrastructure, there's also the issue of community identity. Wilson County is a growing, thriving community. Families and businesses choose to come here because of our schools, safety, and quality of life. Decisions like this affect how our community is viewed on a larger stage. It's also important to recognize that multiple local officials have said they're against this. If that truly is the prevailing position among our local leadership, it should be reflected clearly and formally. So tonight I ask two things from the Commission. First, to provide transparent, ongoing communication to the public about what is known, what is unknown, and what steps are being taken to prepare for or respond to this situation. Second, that you consider passing a formal resolution stating that Wilson County does not support the placement of an ICE detention facility in our community. While such a resolution may not bind federal action, it sends a unified message about our county's position. Local government exists to represent and protect the interest of its community. Wilson County deserves a seat at the table when decisions like this are made. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dr. Sabrina? Dr. Sabrina, please come forward. We're going to move through these pretty fast, so as soon as one gets through, I'll call the next one, just so we have an opportunity for everybody to speak tonight. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name is Dr. Sabrina Buer. I live at 1693 Greenwood Road here in Lebanon. And very quickly, there are a few important things for you guys to know about me. I come to you today as a resident of Wilson County, a lifelong daughter of the state of Tennessee, an educator, an American Indian woman, and also as the co-director of the Tennessee chapter of the American Indian Movement Organization. The last 24 hours have obviously been very confusing, so I hope to come here today to give some insight from an Indigenous perspective that is often not heard in these spaces. I'll start with facts regarding the proposed ICE facility here, the established ICE detention centers, and further ICE presence in our county. What we know is that there are an untold number of cases where people's Fourth Amendment rights have been violated in these facilities. Just as appalling are the conditions in these so-called detention centers. People are being denied their 14th Amendment constitutional rights to due process. They're not being provided with medical care or life-saving medications, and we absolutely cannot ignore the reports of physical and sexual abuse that are occurring at these facilities. Again, speaking as an Indigenous person, what is happening to communities that may have never experienced this type of injustice is not new to us. Indigenous people have been fighting this colonized system of oppression for hundreds of years. We have endured being forcibly removed from our homelands, having our children taken away and sent to hopefully survive the brutality of boarding schools, and have had to fight for our rights to speak our language, to protect our culture and practice our spirituality. The treatment of our people is a darkness in this country's history that continues to this day, and we are seeing this treatment on repeat in immigrant communities around the country. For example, we have documented proof and a go-ahead from the Supreme Court that ICE agents are using the color of a person's skin and the language they are speaking as enough probable cause to arrest people. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. This is the type of organization that we could potentially be inviting into our community, and I don't think that's what we want. And if we can't use history as a guidepost to do better, then perhaps I can frame this in a different way. Leviticus 19:33-34 says, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. We are coming to a fork in the road in this country where we are collectively going to have to make a choice between doing what is right and what is easy. No matter how small we think our choices are in the grand scheme of things, they do matter. We may not be able to change the world by one decision in this room, but we do have an opportunity right now to change someone's world for the better, which gives me at least a modicum of hope. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Natalie Flores. Miss Natalie, before you talk, Robert Moxley will be next, if you could be ready. Again, if you would, hold your applause so that we can let everybody speak tonight. And again, there are no decisions being made tonight. When she addressed that and said, hey, so we can have a vote now, there are no decisions being made. This is just you letting your voice be heard. We'd love to hear your voice, but please keep your applause. Do not have that. And then you're addressing the commission, not ask for audience approval of what you're saying, please. Miss Natalie, take off.
Thank you. My name is Natalie Flores. I live at 1056 Holland Ridge Way here in Lebanon. Good evening, commissioners, mayor. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to respectfully urge you to take a strong, united stance against bringing an ICE detention facility to Wilson County. Recent reporting from the Tennessee Lookout made it clear that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has plans to open a second immigrant detention center in Tennessee here in Lebanon. The article also made something else clear. The leaders in this room were not meaningfully consulted before this announcement. That should concern all of us, not just the lack of transparency, which I do assume is to minimize potential community outrage until it's too late, and that's concerning enough on its own, but it also is an insult to our community that the federal government does not respect this community or our local leadership enough to involve us in such a significant decision. You as leaders are being asked implicitly to accept broad promises of economic benefit. We're hearing about projections of job growth and positive financial impact, but these claims are vague, they are generalized, and they're not accompanied by detailed local analysis. Economic development should strengthen a community's future. It should align with who we are and what we want to become. A detention facility does not do that. So beyond these uncertain economic projections, there are serious lasting implications. Increased strain on local infrastructure and emergency services, potential impacts on healthcare systems and transportation, the reputational consequences for this growing family-oriented community, and the moral weight of becoming known as a site of immigrant detention. Across the country, existing detention facilities have faced documented reports of inadequate medical care, overcrowding, and prolonged confinement of people without criminal convictions, raising serious humanitarian and accountability concerns. Even if this facility is federally operated, the ripple effects will not be federal. They will be local, and it will belong to us. The article makes clear that this body has not yet had the opportunity to weigh in on this. So what I'm asking for you tonight is to do more than weigh in. I'm asking you to stand, please, together, clearly and publicly, and say that this is not a development we want for our community. Not because of politics, not because of rhetoric, but because Wilson County has built a reputation as a community focused on sustainable growth and quality of life. And we have the responsibility to protect the future that we are intentionally shaping here. If we don't draw that line now, we're not going to get another chance. Thank you.
Mr. Robert Moxley. Thank you for the applause. Thank you. Jacob Berry is next. Robert Moxley.
Hello, Commissioners, Mayor. My name is Robert Moxley. I live at 3190 West Division Street in Hermitage. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, and I'm currently running for County Commission in District 2. I'm here tonight because I stand fully against an ICE detention facility coming to our county. On January 20th, 2006, the Wilson County Sheriff signed a 287G agreement, which I've provided copies for. This agreement agrees that local deputies will be trained and county resources will be spent enforcing immigration. Now we're hearing reports that an ICE detention facility is coming to our community. This is not a responsible use of our county resources. As a veteran, I think a lot about how governments behave under fear and pressure, and how quickly people's rights become optional when a group is labeled a threat. One of the clearest warnings in American history is the imprisonment of Japanese Americans during World War II. Families, mostly U.S. citizens, were detained based on their ancestry. They lost their homes, businesses, and years of their lives, and the damage lasted for generations. It's natural, in my experience, when you read about something like this in school, that you tell yourself, if I was there, I would have stood up. I would have said, not here, not in my community. Well, this is one of those moments. This isn't a chapter in a history book. It's happening in real time, and the human cost will show up in our own community. Whatever your views on immigration policy, I want to be clear about what this agreement does on the ground. When people believe local law enforcement are working hand in hand with ICE, victims and witnesses report less, cooperation drops, and criminals get more freedom to operate. That means every family in Wilson County is less safe and not more. Any one of us could have predicted that this document would have been controversial. The sheriff made this agreement without public knowledge, and it tells the community that our trust and constitutional rights are negotiable. If the sheriff made this decision knowing that a detention facility was coming to Lebanon, then the public deserves answers and accountability. Many of you have claimed ignorance to the press. This document is just one of many reasons why ICE felt that Lebanon was friendly territory, and this has been out since January. This moment will be written down somewhere, whether we like it or not. And I don't want anyone in Wilson County to have to justify this to their grandchildren. So let's choose the side that we'll be proud to explain. Thank you.
Jacob Berry. Jacob Berry. Jordan Comos is next. Jordan Comos is next. Jacob Berry, you may start.
Hello, my name is Jacob Berry. I live at 4306 Adelaide Court, Mount Juliet, and I'm running for County Commissioner in District 8. I'm here to state in no uncertain terms that I oppose any plans to build an ICE detention facility in Lebanon on moral grounds, whether it be hypothetical, happening behind closed doors, or out in the open. If this is in the works, I want this body to stand in the way. If the land hasn't been bought yet, I want this body to act to prevent it from happening. I'm also here to ask, how are you going to make sure this doesn't negatively impact our already woefully out-of-date infrastructure? What are you going to do to make sure this doesn't make our wastewater problems worse? What are you going to do to make sure that not a single cent of Wilson County tax dollars are spent on this facility? You may or may not be able to stop DHS from opening a detention facility here in Wilson County, but your constituents deserve your best when it comes to making sure it doesn't negatively impact us in any way that you can control. So with that said, I have three asks of this body. Commit to opposing any DHS facility, be it detention centers, offices, or training facilities, from being built in Wilson County. Commit to opposing any spending of Wilson County tax dollars on development of DHS facilities. I'll give you brownie points if you can disincentivize them from doing it altogether by changing zoning or tax ordinances to actually benefit our community. The third is to commit to holding DHS accountable to building the necessary infrastructure so as to not negatively impact our already subpar infrastructure. Again, I'll give you extra credit if you can actually disincentivize them from building here by requiring them to do other work to benefit our county's infrastructure. There are a lot of eyes on Wilson County right now. Take a stand to keep our community safe, or at least make sure our tax dollars are spent responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan Comos. And Jamie Little is next. Jordan Comos. Jamie Littrell is next.
I'm Jordan Comos. I live on Everly Lane in Mount Juliet, and I'm proudly on the ballot for County Commission District 13. I'm here today not to debate immigration policy. In fact, I believe historically speaking, ICE has an important mission. I do not know a single person who is against legal deportation of actual criminals who are illegally in our country. There are moral ways to execute this and this mission with human decency. However, under Trump's version of ICE, we have seen children removed and used as bait. We've seen agents show up at public schools and daycares. We've seen 40-year productive members of our community removed for a missing taillight. We've seen at least 2 American citizens murdered at the hands of this version of ICE. What I am here for is to encourage this body, each and every one of you, to look in the mirror and decide if you want an ICE detention facility in your community. You who represent the good folks of Wilson County, who display your Wilson County kind yard signs and fly your Wilson County is the place to be flags, and you who sit in church on Sunday praying to a merciful God, do you want an ICE detention center here? Do you want this here? If the answer is no, say it. No. Say it loud. Be proud and show up for your community so there is no mystery or confusion that Wilson County kind actually means something.
Amen. Jamie Littrell, Richie Jamie Littrell.
My name is Jamie Littrell. I live at 1505 Dove Drive here in Lebanon, Tennessee. I am also running for County Commission to represent the citizens of District 6. I'd like to start by clearly stating that we know ICE is already here at work in Wilson County. Our leaders have enabled this by signing the 287G agreement. Rutherford and Wilson County have led the way in increased ICE officer arrests from last year. So I've been in communication with Paige Hughes at the Department of Homeland Security Office of Public Affairs, who told me that a facility has not been purchased. That was the end of her statement. If there's any chance that this is a not yet, it is our duty to do something now. In the previous email exchange, she also said that DHS plans, in their planning to open these facilities, to conduct community impact studies before any proposed detention facilities open. However, there's little clarity about what that study would include, how local governments will participate, or whether those results would become public. So my question is simple. How will Wilson County ensure that we are fully represented and fully informed before the purchase, the lease, the operation of a facility to be used by ICE here? Will the county conduct its own independent fiscal study and analysis and share those results with the citizens that live here? We need answers about potential indirect cost. Could this increase law enforcement overtime? Will our sheriff's department be expected to provide support when we are already facing significant staffing shortages, even with our recent pay increase? What additional wear and tear might heavy traffic place on county roads? What strain will this create for our capacity of sewer systems, water, utility, and infrastructure? For our emergency services in the area, there's also practical concern. If EMS units needed to respond to medical calls at a facility, what happens to the response time for our neighbors? Would additional ambulances and staffing be required, and if so, who bears that cost? These aren't partisan questions, these are governance questions that we will be faced with. So residents and elected officials of Wilson County are obviously being kept in the dark about this potential facility. That cannot be changed, but what happens next can. So I'm asking the commission and our mayor for 3 commitments. 1, that no Wilson County taxpayer dollars be used to subsidize, construct, or operate this facility, whether directly or indirectly. 2nd, that the commission formally engage with this federal official local participation in any impact study done, and that all findings be made public, and that this commission establishes a clear transparency process, including detailed public update page or a town hall before purchase, construction, renovation of any facility, because we deserve nothing less.
Richie McCarter. John Ross is next, and Charity Tyler is after that. Richie McCarter, John Ross, and then Charity Tyler.
If I could get the full 3 minutes, I'd appreciate it. But my name is Richie McCarter. I live at 419 Hollywood Drive, Old Hickory, Tennessee. And I'm actually here for a completely separate topic that I wanted to speak to everyone about with regard to my district and District 1. We recently had some issues with the events after the ice storm, and I wanted to first give my thanks to WEMA and the Road Commission and our Volunteer Network Tennessee. Appreciate all the men and women that have been out there helping out and clearing all of the debris and all the damage that was caused from the ice storm. Specifically, this is going to be about safety concerns regarding some of the debris piles that have been collected outside of some of our neighborhoods and on the right-of-way. They are causing some line-of-sight concerns, and it was brought to my attention after some Facebook posts in some HOA groups, things along those lines. I was contacted at that point that when specifically departing out of Langford Farms and Hunter's Crossing out onto Saundersville out onto Saundersville Road, that the line of sight was blocked for Saundersville, causing some of the drivers to have to go out in order to make a clear turn. I researched on who to contact, was unable to find anybody, so at that point I contacted WEMA, spoke to an operator. The operator told me to talk to the Road Commission. Ended up calling the Road Commission. They were only open from Monday through Thursday, 6:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. This was a Friday. This was going to cause some safety concerns throughout the entire weekend, so I went out, removed it myself out of Hunter's Crossing. Unfortunately, this last weekend, I got some help from some neighbors in Langford Farms and was able to remove that. I'm just here to speak to the county commission and the mayor and let you guys know that this is a safety concern. And I know that we did have some approval for the road commission to get some extra additional hours and to help with the removal of the debris. I think it would be beneficial to also extend the hours for the safety concern or for the safety hotline so that we have a simpler way to report safety concerns so that we're not having to tie down either calling directly for a commissioner to then have to go through that same thing. We also have the WEMA app, which is a really good app. I think that would be something that would be additionally beneficial to add a reporting feature for safety concerns and along those lines. I really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you. And then you can also, if you have places that are blocked, just call my office and we'll make sure we try to get those cleared for you. But they are working out there, and they did get approval today to pick up all the debris, which is a good thing. John Ross, Charity Tyler, and then Robin Craig.
I would like to voice my concerns, as many are not here for. After witnessing the events involving ICE around the U.S. and their operations in Nashville and in Wilson County, to hear that an ICE facility is coming to our hometown genuinely terrified me, and I'm sure many in this room and many in the county are feeling these same feelings. And I have some questions. Who does ICE hire? They hire pretty much anyone, but they will find most use in those looking to perpetrate violence without repercussion, willing to work outside of the law to fulfill these fantasies without need to identify themselves to scared victims or bystanders. And I don't want to see this in our streets. And what of the detention centers themselves? Conditions for detainees in these facilities are horrific. Detainees packed in cages, forced to sleep in human waste, denied medical necessities, and at least 9 people this year have died in ICE custody. They are not here to protect us. They're here to terrorize our communities and instill fear in any who oppose them. But this will have an opposite effect. ICE is going to radicalize many in Wilson County if you allow this to continue, because it's harder to ignore state violence when it's happening right outside your window.
Good job.
Charity Tyler. Charity Tyler. Robin Craig. Charity Tyler. Robin Craig. And Andrew Maxwell. Is there Charity Tyler? Robin Craig is after, and then Andrew Maxwell. If you could please line up, that would help us, please. Thank you. State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Charity Tyler. I've come here from Tullahoma, Tennessee, to speak for those in the smaller hollers of my community that I love and fear for. And my community knows that the government has a long history of exploiting the land and people of the volunteer state for their own gain. The proposed building of the ICE concentration camp, detention center, is just a new example of the abuse that the South is expected to take. The government has repeatedly sent our boys into battles with no regard for their welfare if they are lucky enough to come home. The government has cut VA and SNAP benefits with no regard for the veterans who rely on these systems in order to fund camps and agents that terrorize the American people. Even our local governments bulldoze homeless encampments with no regard for the patriots who are driven onto the streets by private companies gentrifying them out of their affordable housing. And now the government wants to use our land to cage immigrants, to imprison our neighbors for a possible civil charge while refusing to arrest any of the predators listed in the Epstein files. Billionaires assault and murder all children while the government they fund tries to convince you that your loved ones are the people you should fear. I have heard that building the ICE facility could generate 7,000 jobs for local people. However, do you trust that the federal government will do what is right, or do you know that they will choose the cheaper option? I fear that 7,000 people will build this camp, and then when the job is done, our president will get on the news and brag about getting 7,000 criminals out of Tennessee. In conclusion, the American Revolution was started over the concept of no taxation without representation. It was started over the price of paper and tea and stamps, and we are far past the price of anything. Are you willing to disgrace your ancestors by setting idly by while the government taxes you into starvation while they kill off your neighbors for profit? I'm here to remind everyone that real volunteers do not sit idly by as their country bleeds. Real volunteers love and support their communities. Real volunteers help people. Thank you.
Robin Craig, Andrew Maxwell, Diana Ruby. Robin.
Hi, my name is Robin Craig, and I'm probably one of your newest residents. I just moved here short time ago from Kansas City. 3 weeks ago, I spent 8 days in Minneapolis, and that's why I came here tonight to speak. I just found out an hour before your meeting tonight, and after what I saw and experienced, I didn't feel like I could not speak. I went up there to try to help deliver food to people that were shut in their homes that couldn't get out and get food for fear of they were black and brown people, many of them American citizens, but they couldn't leave their house out of fear. I was turned away at a lot of the places to volunteer because ICE had infiltrated them, and they had to vet their volunteers so closely. I ended up at the Whipple building for part of the time. ICE officers every day, and I'm not a person that would call them names or throw things at them or yell or flip them off. I never did any of that. I didn't want them to have any reason to come after me. Yet every day I was called the B word, the C word, see you next Tuesday. One officer put his finger in my face and said, I'll get you like good. Look me in the eye, I'll get you like good. So if a federal officer threatened to murder me is essentially how I took that. I believe that's what that was, that threat. These are not professional ICE officers of 10 years ago. The way they acted there to the residents, to us, at the Whipple building every day, dozens of people were let out. They weren't given phone calls. They would walk. I mean, the first 2 days I was there, it was below zero temperatures. They would walk across a big parking lot and across the street to come to the volunteers and the people that were standing outside there to get food, water, rides home. They oftentimes had no hat, no coat. Sometimes they walked across to us with no shoes on. They just would push them out of the building. Oh, we're not going to press charges. Oh, you are an American citizen. I know we've had you here for hours, but push them out the door. No ride, nothing. And we heard the same thing from these people over and over again. They were physically assaulted in there. They were not given adequate food or water or meds. It is exactly what you see on the news, but seeing this face to face in reality, doing the pilgrimage, and it is a pilgrimage to walk from the George Floyd Memorial to the Renee Good Memorial to the Alex Preddy Memorial. To say it broke my heart doesn't begin to cover it. I'm the daughter of a Vietnam combat veteran who fought during the Tet Offensive. He paid the rest of his life in Agent Orange and PTSD, and this is not what my father fought for. It's not what he would stand for. The only good thing about my father not being on this earth for the last year and a half is that he didn't have to see this, because it would have broken his heart. This is not about right or left. This is about right or wrong. We have to choose to do right, because let me tell you, when they come to your community, these are not like your good officers here. These are not trained professionals with good intentions.
Thank you. Adam Maxwell. Yeah.
My name is Andrew Maxwell. I live at 707 Capitol Drive here in Lebanon. And I want to thank Commissioner Keith for answering both of my phone calls on the first try. Friends and neighbors, I am here to speak not out of anger, but out of conviction. Conviction that the kind of community we build matters. The proposal to place an ICE detention center in our city is not just about land use, budgets, or income. It's about who we are and who we choose to stand beside. Many of us draw our moral compass from Scripture. Again and again, the Bible calls us to treat the foreigner with dignity and compassion. In Leviticus 19:34, we are told, "The foreigner residing along you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt." That command is not conditional. It does not say, unless they lack papers, or unless it's inconvenient. It says, love them as yourself. But this issue is not only about immigrants, it's also about citizens, our neighbors, who can be harmed when detention systems expand. Investigations have documented more than 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE or related agencies in just the first 9 months of 2025. Some held for days without lawyers or family contact. Children who are U.S. citizens have also been caught up in detention operations, including minors with serious medical conditions. These mistakes are not hypothetical. They are the predictable result of large-scale raids and detention quotas that sweep broadly. Even policy analysts note that expanded enforcement has led to documented cases of American citizens being wrongfully detained. When local communities participate in detention systems, they can pay the price, financially and morally. Cities and counties have had to pay settlements after wrongly holding U.S. citizens for ICE, including cases where citizens presented passports or military IDs and were still jailed. In Hebrews 13:2, we are reminded, do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers. Hospitality is not incarceration. It is the virtue, hospitality is not incarceration, is the virtue lifted up. I moved my family here in 2015 in the hopes that we would find our forever home. This city is for the most part peaceful, and in our quiet neighborhood, we help each other when possible. We can choose another path, one that reflects both our civic values, our faith traditions, welcoming the stranger, predicting families, and safeguarding the rights of all our people.
Diana Ruby, Jim Lumen, and Taylor Escue is the next. Jim Luby, Diana Ruby.
Hi, I'm Ruby Gidara. I live at 142 Trapp Road in Watertown, and I have property on the square in Watertown, Tennessee. I am so moved by everything everyone else just said. I wish that I could have said that, but I'm just going to get down to the brass tacks of the fact that I live here. I love where I live. I try every day to elevate Wilson County in any way I can, and I do so in many ways that I'm not going to even go into. But I am so mortified and was so ashamed and so filled with rage and horror at the very thought that this county, Wilson County, our beautiful county, even our beautiful state of Tennessee, would even contemplate having a true concentration camp in our county and in our community. I looked up the definition of detention center and contrasted it with the definition of concentration camp, and there was very little difference except for the people in concentration camps were kept in deplorable conditions and not treated with any decency whatsoever, which is what we see to be the situation that all of us are very aware of with the detention center. We do not need that in our county. We don't need it in our state. We don't need it in our country. So I just want to say, as a property owner and a proud resident of Wilson County, if this does come to the table, it cannot pass. So whoever it is that votes, vote no. Thank you.
Jim Lumen, Taylor X, Jim Lumen, Jim Lumen, Taylor Esque, and Dominic McCallister. Is there a Jim Lumen? Do not see a Jim Lumen. Do I have one coming? Nope. Taylor Esque. Taylor. Dominic McCallister. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Dominic McCallister of Tiger Woods Way in Murfreesboro. First of all, going to go a little bit different here. Who do we have that's EMS, firefighter?
Hey, sir,
Yeah.
you have to address the commission, sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Can we get a round of applause, though, for our heroes in the room? Just one time. All right. First of all, not very good at this. I'm usually working, taking care of my grandma, that kind of stuff, so I'm not usually in here doing this kind of stuff. For those of you that are in here that are legal immigrants, I want to thank you for doing your paperwork. It means a lot to me. That being said, nobody likes anyone breaking in their house. Let's just clear that up, okay? So I feel like if people do a little more paperwork to get here, there wouldn't really be as many issues, but since there's a lot of people that don't do the paperwork to get here, we're here now, okay? So I want to be the one to say, all lives matter, American, if you're from here, if you're not from here.
Let me speak.
Sir?
Let me
Sir.
speak.
Sir. Speak, your time is going, sir. Please speak. Please speak to the commission, please.
I'm going to continue to say people of both sides should be held accountable, ICE agents and protesters alike. If you'd let me.
Hey, please let the guys, hey, please have respect here and let's move through with this, please. Go ahead.
Anyways, both sides need to be held accountable. ICE agents doing things they're doing in those cells need to be held accountable for what they're doing. People impeding investigations and everything else also need to be held accountable. Everyone let you all speak. This is exactly why we have these issues.
Please finish speaking, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Jason Harper, Aaron Moore, Jack Lowry. Jason Harper, Aaron Moore. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Jason Harper. I live on Eagle Trace in Mount Juliet. I've lived in Wilson County virtually my entire life.
If you would, please be quiet so we can hear. Excuse me? Yeah, just hang in there. I'll take care of you.
So in October 2024, the American Immigration Council found, using the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting and Population data from the U.S., my apologies, I'm not very good at this. I'll start over. I'm a taxpayer. I'll take my time. In October 2024, the American Immigration Council found, using the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting and Population data from the U.S. Census Bureau, that undocumented immigrants are 60% less likely to be incarcerated compared to the U.S. born. Additionally, they are 50% less likely to be arrested for violent crimes than those born in the U.S. They go on to say, quote, 19 research reports examining the relationship between immigrants and crime have been published in peer-reviewed journals between 2017 and 2024, analyzing data through 2020. All came to one of just two conclusions: that the proportion of immigrants in an area appeared to have no effect on either the violent or property crime rate in that area, or that increased shares of immigrants were actually associated with lower violent and property crime rates. At the same time, policies that strive to protect immigrants have been associated with lower property and violent crime rates, as well as reductions in specific crimes like domestic homicide, assault, and robbery, unquote. The Guardian reviewed figures from ICE and CBP and discovered that as of February 7th of this year, 43% of ICE detainees have no criminal record. The Cato Institute also reviewed data from ICE and found that from October 1st, 2024 to June 14th, 2025, 65% of bookends had no criminal convictions, and more than 93% were never convicted of any violent offenses. I apologize for my nervousness. I am not the one to do this.
Please go.
According to analysis by the Marshall Project of Immigration and Custom Enforcement, at least 3,800 children under 18, including 20 infants, have been booked since Trump took office. More than 1,300 were held for 20 days or longer, exceeding the benchmark for how long children with families can be detained. Quote, in court documents filed in December 2025 as part of ongoing civil litigation, families described brutal conditions while being detained with their children. Parents said it was difficult to get bottled water to mix with formula for babies, and that the food was contaminated with mold and worms. Children were under so much psychological stress that parents said they were hitting their own faces or wetting themselves despite being potty trained. Many of those people have active immigration proceedings, like asylum cases, and were arrested while trying to comply with the law by showing up at check-ins or court dates. We have all seen countless videos of ICE agents indiscriminately kidnapping, brutalizing, and murdering citizens and non-citizens alike, all while the Trump administration tells us to ignore the evidence of our eyes and ears.
Thank you, sir.
ICE agents are also purveyors of cruel and unusual punishment in detention centers.
Thank you, sir.
I pay my taxes. I will finish. I'm almost done. I feel much safer with undocumented immigrants than I ever will with ICE agents. They are not welcome in my community, as ICE Detention Center would be a stain on Wilson County and a stain on the soul of anyone who doesn't do everything they can to stop it from happening.
Aaron Moore. Aaron Moore, Jack Lowry. Again, I just think we need to understand that you are here to talk to the commission about wanting or not wanting a detention facility. All of the other stuff that's happening in our country, we do not like that either. But this meeting is about you talking to them about what your thoughts are. So please be respectful for each other if you can, so we can work through this process tonight and move forward. There is nothing on our agenda tonight that we're voting for, but we're glad to hear your comments. But please be respectful and listen to one another. Aaron, I believe you're next, and then I have a lady over in the corner that, tell me your name, ma'am.
Taylor Escue.
What's that?
Taylor Escue.
I got you. You're next. Go ahead, Aaron.
Aaron Moore, and I just wanted to say I feel this conversation is timely. I understand that it might not be coming right now, but that does not mean that we shouldn't talk about it. I absolutely believe in incarceration and deportation of violent foreign nationals. I support measures of border control to keep the residents of this country safe. We can have those things without endangering and disrupting the lives of U.S. residents. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has been guilty of assaulting, detaining, and violating the rights of U.S. citizens, migrant workers with valid work visas, and families seeking safety and opportunity through asylum. We do not need or want that level of violence or chaos in our communities. The federal government's already spending enormous amount of resources to tear families apart and harass functional members of our society. I would much rather that federal, state, and Wilson County resources went to preventing criminal activities through proven methods such as societal programs that lift up our communities together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Taylor.
My name is Taylor Escue. I had something written, but putting me after Trump's #1 fan back there has made me completely revamp what I was going to say. I've lived in Tennessee for the past 10 years in the South my entire life. Rhetoric like the man two before me about having legal papers has never been something I've had to face until recently. And now I'm having conversations with my mother and my family about what to do if they get stopped, despite being legal citizens. I have traveled from Nashville to make this request on Lunar New Year Day, on a day I should be celebrating with my family and my community. I am forced instead to advocate for them instead. My extended family has experienced life and internment camps, and we are seeing history repeat in real time. Legal status alone will not keep us safe. I'm having conversations, and now we are seeing more and more the increase of ICE activity does not just endanger people of color, it endangers all of us. And when they stop coming for us with melanin, they're going to come for you too. We have seen how ICE behaves in cities like Minnesota, where children are being held hostage and citizens shot in the street. We have seen how ICE detention centers have no regard for due process, denying congressional members and attorneys access to check on the welfare of the detainees. Tennessee is ranked 31 in healthcare. We're ranked 43 in education. Our crime rate's 42. Where child well-being is 37th in the nation. These seem to be no money to ever cover these kinds of statuses and fix this, and yet we're going to be asked to foot the bill at the tune of $17,000 per detainee for a 44-day detention time. And this is money we do not have as a state, ran by the party of fiscal responsibility, and money we should not spend. The cost of an ICE detention center would be better served pouring this funding into our communities and for our neighbors. Better yet, the cost of a human life cannot be demarcated by a dollar. Lastly, I will close with this. Today marks the year of the fire horse. This will be a year of disruption and change, and let's make sure our state is on the right side of this by voting no to any ICE detention center. And in the words of my ancestors, Sahe Bag Marikseo, Ayom Shibal.
Jack Lowry. Gary E. Forsman is next. And then Doug Polodi.
Honorable Mayor and County Commissioners, my name is Jack Lowry. I'm a lifelong resident of Wilson County, Tennessee. I live on Carthage Highway. I recognize that the officials in this room and the Wilson County, the City of Lebanon mayor and the other officials in Wilson County and the mayors of those cities have recently been thrust into a situation with little to no information, which I think is important based upon the comments that you have made, Mayor, and some of the conversations that I've had. I understand that the county has moved swiftly and done all they could to understand what may or may not be occurring in this county. Like many here tonight, I am certainly opposed to a detention facility in this county. It is a very emotionally charged night, that is clear, and for a lot of reasons I understand, but no one in this county commission that I'm aware of or any other elected official works for ICE. I think you all are doing the best you can with the information that you have. Whether this is valid or not, I do think it offers an opportunity for the county to be thoughtful about how they address it between now and the next meeting. I thought the first, second, and third speaker tonight did a beautiful job of laying out some requests and some thoughtful measures that the county commission could come together and think about as time allows. I think it's unfortunate that you all are villainized at this point simply by being aware of something and trying to understand what is occurring. We have a product here in Wilson County that this commission has worked diligently to make shine. At this time in our growth and our economic development, Wilson County is one of the leading locations. We are a wonderful place to make a home. We are a wonderful place to have a business. We are a wonderful place for a corporate company to come in and have manufacturing facilities, shipping facilities, and find good quality employees who will show up to work. A detention facility in our county would act as a poison pill. I trust that this county commission knows that and that it will take the appropriate steps within the powers that it has to ensure that the world knows that we are not willing to support a detention facility in this county. Thank you.
Gary Forsman. Gary Forsman, Doug Polodi. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Gary Forsman. I'm a physician. I come here because I take an oath to harm no one. But I come more as a dad I come more as a neighbor, and I feel for everybody in here. With the announcement of that detention facility, my wife went into a tailspin, thinking she can't live here. She and her family are why we're here in Wilson County. I've been living in Wilson County at 101 Short Drive, District 4. The murder of Alex Preddy in the streets of Minneapolis radicalized me, and the saying goes, radicalized by basic decency.
Please address the commission, please.
And I cannot emphasize enough that what we're seeing in this world and we will look at the facts of what the ICE detention. So there's been so many good things said by my colleagues. I want to focus on one thing, the track data. Okay, that's a transactional records access clearinghouse run by Syracuse University. It's a nonpartisan group that has been analyzing FOIA data for forever. This is what actually happens in ICE facilities. 68,289 people currently in ICE detention center as of February 7th. Okay, of that, 73.6%, 0 criminal convictions. That would be 0. Okay, that's over 50,000 people, no felonies, no misdemeanors, nada. Okay. And of those who have convictions, mainly traffic violations. So 92% of the recent growth in those facilities are people who have no record of anything whatsoever. We see what is happening here, okay? We see a sign for, remember Anne Frank, we see these things. You know what's occurring. Somebody already mentioned the concentration camp things. The reason my wife was distraught is because these are concentration camps. They are not detention centers. And so the 2025 was ICE's deadliest year. 31 deaths in ICE facilities, 3 times the previous year. These are the facts, by the way, okay? And it's often said that action goes from the head, data, to the heart. You've seen the heart of the people here, okay? To the hands. What actions can we take to proactively assess where this facility might be and halt it? Can we come out and make a statement that says we will not let this facility exist in our county? There's already been mentioned how many, by a bipartisan committee, have assessed these facilities. The data is astounding. 41 cases of physical and sexual abuse, 18 reported cases of mistreatment of children, 14 reports of mistreatment of pregnant women begging for medical care,
Thank you, sir. Doug Paletti.
The time was started a little late, okay, so I wasn't given the full 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Please be respectful of our time.
But I want to emphasize
Please be respectful of our time. Doug Paletti is the next. Doug, please. Lindsay Patrick is next. Jennifer Bartlett is next. I do not have a D-A-U-P-O-U-P-O-Q-U-E-T-T. I'm going to move.
I'm Aubrey White, sorry.
Ma'am?
I'm so sorry, that's my handwriting.
Okay, is that you?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
All right, come on.
Okay, who's after? Okay. Wait, who's that? I don't think it's me, am I? Can you repeat?
No. Lindsay Patrick. Lindsay Patrick. Jennifer Bartlett is next. Christina Paratras is after that. Lindsay Patrick.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Patrick Wright. I live in Mount Juliet in County Commission District 3. I love Wilson County. This is our home, and it's a community that believes in fairness, accountability, and taking care of our neighbors. Recent reports said that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement was purchasing a facility in Lebanon, and after a great deal of confusion and back and forth and phone calls, an ICE spokesperson now says that's not happening. But the fact that it took so much effort just to get a clear answer is the problem. When our state passes laws that makes Tennessee an attractive place for ICE expansion, proposing legislation that denies immigrant children education or safe access to health care, and when even our leaders cannot get clear answers, that signals a serious lack of transparency. And And we have reason to be concerned here in Wilson County. Our sheriff's office has signed a 287G agreement, formally partnering with local law enforcement with federal immigration authorities and deepening ICE's presence in our community. I am going to share some statistics, and like a good librarian, I have my sources for anyone who wants it. According to ICE's own data, roughly 73% of people detained have no criminal convictions. In 2025, at least 20 people died in ICE custody, the deadliest year since 2005, and independent reviews suggest that nearly 90% of those deaths may have been preventable with adequate medical care. That is not who we are. We believe in due process. We believe in human dignity. I am asking you to demand transparency from the state, and you all have done this. We have come to you, and you all have made resolutions, and our state officials keep overriding them. I am begging you, do not stop representing us. And what we are asking right now is we are asking that you demand transparency from the state and that you stand with us, your constituents, in making it clear Wilson County does not want ICE here. Thank you.
Jennifer Bartlett. Jennifer Bartlett. Christina Petrus is next. Jennifer Bartlett.
Thank you, Mayor Hutto, and thank you, commissioners. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Bartley. I live in District 14, 752 Bench Lane in Mount Juliet. And to clarify, since we've been asked to say what we want from you guys, I am asking for a formal resolution from this commission to say that we do not in Wilson County want an ICE facility here in our backyard. That is the action step we're asking of you, a formal resolution. I'm a mother of 4 kids in Wilson County Public Schools, and I'm a local business owner. I'm a therapist who specializes in perinatal mental health. That's pregnancy, postpartum, miscarriage, loss. I do what I do because I care about people. I care about you who are in this room, and I care about our community here. Wilson County residents want to raise families in peace, but right now that peace is being shattered. My children go to diverse schools in Wilson County, but they have friends who are living in fear right now. The same goes for my clients, and it goes for the people that I know. This is not immigration policy. It's about human rights. We have credible reports of nursing mothers who have been ripped from their infants, unable to use even a breast pump in ICE detention facilities. We have documented cases of women miscarrying while shackled to hospital beds, left to bleed out without medical dignity. We have reports of rape and horrific abuse in ICE detention. And again, it's not about solving immigration, it's about mothers and babies. It is about small children who are being traumatized. It is about children right here in Wilson County whose parents are not coming home to them. Mothers know this: what happens to one of us happens to all of us. Many detainees have no criminal record at all. These are not violent threats. These are moms at grocery stores. These are parents in carpool lanes. These are the people who are actively following the rules and checking in with the system only to be trapped by it at our courthouse. Our local sheriff's department recently signed a cooperative agreement that turns the local police into a funnel for this same system. We've heard several people already mention that. It's eroding trust in our community with our local law enforcement. We are becoming a community where people are targeted for the color of their skin. To be clear, everyone I know supports due process, detainment, and deportation of individuals who commit actual crimes. But this facility wouldn't be about that. It's about the out-of-control system of abuse where inspections have dropped 36% while deaths in custody have hit record highs. This is not who we are, Wilson County. Do not let our town be defined by a detention center rooted in lies and inhumane violence. I'm asking this commission to take action. We want to see a resolution passed here that says this will not happen. Please stand up for our families and keep this facility out of our community. Thank you.
Krista Petrus, Kendall Bourke, and Stephen Martin. Krista Petrus, Kendall Bourke, and Stephen Martin. Seeing no Krista, I guess we'll go with Kendall. Thank you.
My name is Kendall Bourke. I live at 211 Old Horn Springs Road. I'm here regardless of whether this news about this article is true, because what I know is true is that Wilson County doesn't want an ICE detention center, as you guys have heard. And our sheriff's office has signed the 287G contract with ICE. That is true. That is something that is happening here. And I understand that you are asking us not to say things that you guys can't do, but this is something happening in our community, regardless of that article being true. What is also true is that we have Wilson County residents who are scared to speak tonight. I've had multiple people reach out to me and ask if they will be safe speaking tonight, and I had to say no. That is shameful. Everyone in this room should feel shame that human beings who live their lives just like you and me don't feel safe speaking up for themselves in our community. Human beings. I want to read you one of their statements. They did not feel comfortable being here tonight. They're a DACA recipient, which if you don't know means they were brought to this country without citizenship as a child. This is their statement. As a DACA recipient who has resided in Lebanon for the past 25 years, I don't want an ICE detention here. I never dreamed in my own hometown I will have to walk around in fear, just waiting until the day comes where they will pry me away from my son and deport me due to my legal status. As a child who was brought here with little to no consent, why am I the one being punished? Tennessee is home, and all I know, all I can think of is fear. The thing keeping me from stepping a foot outside is I'm scared ICE will find any reason to detain me. I fear for those in the community who are experiencing the same thoughts going through my head. We do not want an ICE detention center within our community. End her statement. She is a mom just like me. She's a person just like me. She works just like me and you. She lives in Wilson County just like me and you. She's probably lived here longer than some of us. Over 3,000 Wilson County residents have signed a petition saying they don't want this, and I know there's more out there. It is climbing. I ask you, even if this article is untrue, please write a resolution against aggressive ICE tactics and actions in our community. This is happening here, and I'm begging you to do something about it. Thank you.
Stephen Martin, Chris McFarland, Carrie Phillips. Stephen.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity to speak. Mayor, you and the commissioners have the patience of Job. Thank you very much. My name is Stephen Martin. I live at 602 Pemberton Drive in Lebanon, Tennessee. I'm here to speak against the siting of an ICE or DHS or whatever you want to call it facility to process or house immigrants in Lebanon. The federal government is preparing to tread on our rights as citizens of the great state of Tennessee to determine what is done within our own city limits. The federal government won't tell us what they plan to tear down or build or where they plan to do it. They won't tell us what they plan to rent or where it is. It's just do it fast before the citizens try to stop it. Sound familiar? That's what happened to the East Wing. That's what happened in Social Circle, Georgia, and Oakwood, Georgia. Neither community has the infrastructure to support what DHS wants to build. They're trying to do the same thing in Merrimack, New Hampshire. They almost got away with it in Hutchins, Texas, but the community blocked the sale or lease of the property that DHS wanted. Would you have let me come into this room if I'd been wearing a mask to cover my face and conceal my identity? Don't think so. Heck, I had to sign a sheet. Now I have to say my address. Now let me ask you this. Do you want any more masked agents running around our town than we've already got? Just stop by the Wilson County Criminal Justice Center on a Monday morning and see the ones that are already here in our town. How do we know that for sure that these masked people really are ICE agents? We can't see their faces. They don't wear badges with numbers. They break car windows and drag people out of cars. They did it just this morning in Murfreesboro. They act like criminals, if you ask me. Maybe some of them are cosplaying criminals. Who knows for sure? Do our local police officers, sheriff's deputies, and state troopers wear masks and conceal their identities? No, they don't, and they wear name tags. They're not ashamed of serving our community and our state. They're proud of the training that they completed to earn their badges. Now, I've seen a lot of Tennessee license plates around town with the "Don't Tread on Me" coiled-up snakes on them. Did these folks just buy the plates for pretty snakes? Or do they really mean "Don't tread on me"? It's high time we stood up to the federal government that wants to tread on our right to run our city and our county as we choose. I say no to ICE, DHS, or whatever you want to call it, facilities in our fine city. I'll be happy to share the references I used with you if you ask. Thank you.
Chris McFarland, Carrie Phillips, Chris McCaffrey.
Hi, my name is Chris McFarland. I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. I'm a combat veteran, and I would like to state what I came here for. This body needs to come in solidarity in the community for the resolution against this death camp being built. I advise you to do so by standing your ground with this community and resist the oligarchy in charge. That oath to the people is the same ideal to the people that exist to protect the people and preserve life. That the power belongs to the people, not to an oligarchy, outright, irresponsible, fake government. Let me be perfectly crystal clear. These camps will not be tolerated at all. This ground you stand on is one of the highest concentration of combat veterans in this country. People who have already faced tyranny abroad, people who recognize state cruelty because we've seen it up close and stopped it. I'm one of them. I am a combat veteran, and I served the United States Army, and I served it proudly. I was stationed here in Tennessee. I was deployed several times overseas to combat zones, and I did so proudly. I follow my grandfather's footsteps, who fought the Nazis in World War II. Sorry, I'm livid. I'm extremely livid. I just want you to know that I will not go home and stay silent ever. While the same sadistic machinery is built here. You want silence? You want obedience? You want us to shut up and accept cages? That is not happening. You call them detention centers. I call them racist death camps. Another alligator Alcatraz inhumane cages for sickos who make fun of gator-eating human beings. Not funny, especially if it's your family. You know, it enrages me, and it really should enrage all of you. At any level. And I'm not playing any games here. This isn't Aladdin's arcade. This must stop. And as far as I know, none of us are escaping this planet. We are one species riding on the same dust ball through the Milky Way together, one future. The only difference is that some people reach the power of already corrupted by it. And the corruption now wears the mask of governance. Since Donald Trump seized control last year, guided by Stephen Miller's cruelty enforced by Tom Homan and defended locally by Andy Ogle's blind loyalty, ICE has become something rotten, necrotic, and a machine that consumes people and clothes.
Thank you, sir. Kate Phillips.
And I won't stand for it.
Stephen Calabro. Kate Phillips. Chris McCaffrey and Stephen Calaberos next.
Hi, I'm Kate Phillips. I live at 800 East Spring Street in Cookeville, Tennessee. I am here because I do not support an ICE detention facility. There have been accounts where ICE has used different names to buy facilities or say they're going to use them for different things and then follow through with a detention facility. These are concentration camps, and we are seeing people be mass murdered and genocided across the United States. I know that it feels like you cannot do much, especially as local representatives, and you have already tried to get clear communication, and I appreciate that. Please do not stop your actions, and please make it hell on earth for them to be in Tennessee, especially Wilson County. If you feel that you want to take more actions, then I highly recommend that you read How to Resist Fascism, which the CIA wrote for the Cold War. It gives a lot of directions on how small organized governments and people can help their community through just average daily means. I appreciate your service to us, and I hope that you will stand by the people and for the people and not to our corrupt government officials. Thank you.
Chris McCarthy. Steve Calabra.
My name's Chris McCarthy. I live at 577 Lakeshore Drive in Old Hickory, Tennessee. My husband, John, and I are native Tennesseans. I've lived in Wilson County myself since 1979. We are people who help other people. We have devoted our lives to building better communities and to helping those in need. We are completely opposed to an ICE facility here in Wilson County, and really in anywhere in America. My ancestors were immigrants from Ireland and Czechoslovakia, and they came here looking for a better life. And they found one, and they started small businesses like many people have done. And we are both Christian and believe in loving your neighbor as yourself. We believe in the Constitution of the United States, and we deplore the Gestapo tactics that we are witnessing in the United States of America today. We are old enough. I'm in my 70s. My husband's in his 80s. We're old enough to remember what those horrors looked like. And I never thought in my entire life that I would be witnessing this in America like I am today. So we beg the commission to do as the first three members that spoke today, the people that spoke today, to stand against the invasion of ICE in Tennessee and in our local communities. Thank you.
Steve Calabra.
Steve Caballero. I'm a Lebanon resident at 1633 Summit Ridge, and I'm the chairman of the Wilson County Democratic Party. Mr. Mayor, commissioners, good evening, and thank you for your time that you've given us tonight. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Wilson County Democrats. The Democratic Party today is stronger than ever because we are building a community with real priorities. Priorities that impact people's lives, such as widening and paving roads, vast productive farmland, parks and green spaces, and public safety. We are working for a community where we don't have wastewater ponding up in our backyards, and where the families who move here for the best schools actually get the best education. We are working for all Wilson County residents. The Wilson County Democratic Party is growing because each of you running as a Republican in the upcoming election has had to sell a bit of your soul to be affiliated with that party. A party that, at the state level, is working against you every single day. Just last week, the state took away your oversight of the Water Commission, and this week they are trying to make your school superintendent an elected position. State-level Republicans refused $84 million in federal aid to feed our most vulnerable kids in the summer, and they're seeking to double the amount of tax dollars they give to private schools with the voucher program. Local Republicans have a big dinner coming up in March named after a 34-count convicted felon whose name is listed in the Epstein files more than Jesus is mentioned in the Bible, and a man whose version of ICE is responsible for the murder of at least 2 American citizens and the unlawful detainment of thousands more. And last month, some local Republicans in this room cowed down at the feet of the county Republican Party chair and sold out their communities for fear of being primaried. That's shameful. Today, no one wants you to cow down. In fact, here's your chance to rise up for the people of Wilson County, to stand up against the Republican supermajority that runs this state and do something to stop the ICE detention center from coming to Wilson County. Thank you.
Aurora Ritter. Tyler Farmer. Is there Aurora here?
Please come forward. Tyler Farmer. Is there Krista Petrus here? Nope. Go ahead.
All right. I myself am just a single student, and I would also like to note I did count over half the commission being on their phone at least once while I was in here. I know you are not voting on this facility opening. I'm aware that has been made very clear, but I'm asking you to rally against the opening of this facility. Put every single bit of your being into it. That's what I ask you to do. Rally the cops not to cooperate with ICE. Use some legal loophole to stop them buying the land. I don't care. You can say you don't want the facility, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't do anything. You know, I quote first they came for, but we've all read the poem by this point, right? So, you know, me personally as a transgender person, I do not have an option of standing by and watching. I have to speak up, so here I am, pleading for you to fight back with every aspect of your being. Know that if you choose to do nothing, this county may very well end up kneeling in a field of corpses, and when the social murder of fascism has taken its root, you will be guilty, and I will not feel bad for you.
Tyler Farmer, Aubrey White, Rusty Sweeten. Tyler Farmer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Farmer. I live at 8015 Ritter Drive in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I am a junior at Mount Juliet High School, and I am the chair of the Wilson County High School Democrats. ICE has become a hotly debated topic amongst Americans during the Trump administration. Although ICE has been going after primarily adults, there's another group of people I'm talking about, children. ICE has made it known that they are not afraid to arrest and deport children. An example of this is 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos. Liam was returning home with his father from school when his father was detained, and ICE agents used Liam as bait for the rest of his family to come out. This scene of events led to the famous photo of Liam in a bunny hat and wearing a Spider-Man backpack, crying while his father was being taken away. ICE agents have gone as far as arresting and detaining children with cancer. ICE detained a 6-year-old boy from Honduras who had blood cancer. It is only after immense public pressure and a federal lawsuit that his family was released. ICE even deported a 4-year-old U.S. citizen who had stage 4 kidney cancer. Has America lost its empathy? Why do people in America turn a blind eye to all this injustice happening right now? But we must focus on schools. ICE has forced their way into schools across the country. ICE has detained children inside schools, creating surreal images of kids running for their lives as their classmates and friends are kidnapped and forced from their families. Why? Why are we putting up with this and letting these thugs take our fellow Americans from us? This is what our founding fathers fought against in the American Revolution. But a question needs to be asked. If this ICE facility in Lebanon is going to be built, are we putting students at risk? The answer is yes. You are enabling to put students into harm's way when we should be protecting them. You are going to let ICE come into schools and steal our students, which we should be helping them teach and prepare for college. But in 20 years from now, we will be wondering, why did we do this? Why are we putting our Americans' lives in danger? Why did we have 2 people killed because of ICE? Tell me, is it worth it? The construction of this ICE facility will lead to suffering for many, including children. County commissioners, tell me this. Do you want the blood and tears of thousands of Americans on your hands? If you say yes, you have shattered the social contract between person and government. Finally, let this be a reminder to Republicans nationally. Because of ICE, you have ruined the American dream for millions. The social contract has been broken, and you have betrayed the Constitution. And your children will pay the price. Thank you.
Thank you. Aubrey White, Rusty Sweeten, and Lori Cameron. Aubrey White, Rusty Sweeten, Lori Cameron.
Good evening. My name is Aubrey. I live at 2307 Tintern Road, Lebanon, Tennessee 37087. My husband and I have been residents of Lebanon for 6 years, and we love our community. Thank you for your time. I'm sure we'd all prefer to be watching the Olympics at home right now. I wish I could fill out a little more time, but I will be concise. Additionally, my remarks stand regardless of if there were an ICE facility currently planned or not. Along with wishing I was home at watching the Olympics, I have some other things about myself that we may have in common. I have a family that's my whole world. I'm a Christian. I go to church every Sunday. I don't miss. I try my best to have my Christian values guide my beliefs and decisions. I serve my community in other ways throughout the week because I want to make the world a better place. I have flaws, and I'm human. I give money to charity. I believe in the moral imperative to love God and neighbor as yourself. We all may have more in common than you may think. Just because I'm here to oppose the presence of ICE in our community or an ICE facility being built in our backyard doesn't mean I don't believe in law and order or care about national security. The stakes are high for me too. We share that. We have that in common. I'm also certain that while not everyone here may be Christian, everyone here wants to love their neighbor. That's why we're here. But this matter of immigration is personal for me in ways you probably aren't familiar with. When I was 19 years old, I served a full-time proselytizing mission for my church in Mexico for a year. I wasn't in super touristy areas. I served in more rural areas. I met thousands of everyday Latinos and worked shoulder to shoulder with them, hundreds of them, to help build our community. And you get to know people real well in a situation like that, talking about God. I learned their stories, including what it's like to try to immigrate to the States. I learned so much from them, and I was able to grow as a person because of their love and examples of Christ. When I came back from my mission in 2015, I was absolutely floored by the rhetoric going around about Mexicans in particular from a certain presidential candidate, because it was all just categorically false. And that rhetoric has only spiraled out of control since then. Part of what I learned from our Mexican neighbors on my mission and in my time since then is this: our immigration system has been rigged for decades, and it's only become worse as time goes on. It takes immigrants years to even decades of time and thousands of dollars to quote unquote do things the right way. We want people to be able to do it the right way. When the game is rigged, no one wins. We don't need another detention facility. We need more lawyers, advocates, and translators to help facilitate legal immigration. That's where our tax dollars should be going. To close out, I'll say this: if you believe in the Bible, you believe in Jesus, then you believe in a refugee, an immigrant, a foreigner, and a stranger. If you believe in Moses, you believe in a mother who had to save her baby's life by sending him to a place she didn't know. If you believe in Joseph, you believe in a man who was forced in a system of slavery and had to fight for his life. If you love the music of Les Mis or have read the Diary of Anne Frank, you believe in the stories of ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances who had to do things they normally wouldn't do to preserve their own safety and the safety of their families. Your homework: do the right thing, talk to an immigrant, keep ICE out, say no to a detention facility, and love your neighbor. Thank you.
Rusty Sweeten, Lori Cameron, Ken Young.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I share the concerns and the anger of the former speakers, and I appreciate your efforts. If you get a chance to vote this ICE detention facility down, here in Wilson County. I've been a Wilson County Lebanon resident for most of my life, and love living here, and I'd rather not see this detention facility anywhere, but definitely not here, especially if it might be run by a private prison concern like our neighbors have across the river in Hartsville, and with all the problems that has. But keep that in mind as well. But I appreciate your time and appreciate, hopefully, your efforts to defeat this. Thank you.
Thank you, Rusty. Lori Cameron, Ken Young, Nathan Gwynn.
Hi, I'm Lori Cameron, 109 Nicholas Circle in Lebanon. I had a wonderful stepfather. What I learned from him is you don't complain about something without doing something about it. That's what led me to contact you, Mayor Hutto, a few years ago, because I was so horribly upset over the racist graffiti on the railroad overpass on Quarry Road. You worked with me. You got it removed. You agreed that there was no place for hate in Wilson County. Let me tell you something else about my stepfather. He was a World War II veteran. He served ahead of the lines. He was a prolific photographer. He sent home things like a napkin, a linen napkin from Hitler's castle. He sent home a Nazi armband. And he sent home photographs from when he liberated the death camps in Germany. Those items have been donated to the Tennessee Holocaust Commission. My stepfather would be telling me today, what are you going to do about it? Are we going to wait until under the cover of darkness, ICE, DHS, who have been so forthright and honest, are we going to wait until, oops, we already did it? Are we going to trust someone at the highest levels of our office in the United States, a president who, as he claims to deport illegal aliens, may I interject that no one is illegal on stolen lands? A president who, even as he spread such hatred against illegals, he turns around and pardons the worst of the worst drug lords. You, each of you, respectfully, each of you are at a pivotal point in your lifetimes. We don't know what's going on because they will not tell us what's going on. You, each of you, must be prepared to be proactive, to do something about it, because this is our home. And just as I learned through my faith, what you do to the least of these, you do unto Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Ken Young, Nathan Gwynn, Nick Bradley, Cagle Rizone. Ken Young is not here. Nathan Gwynn, Nick Bradley, Cagle Rizone, Cody Crafter. Cody. Pastor Hathcock, I think, is next, and then McKenzie Baker after that.
My name is Cody Croyer. I live at 105 Brianna Road, and like many others here, I'm running for county commissioner. Also, like many others here, I'm scared by this ICE facility coming to town. When I started running, I wanted to keep the focus on local issues. I wanted to talk about road maintenance and getting sewer systems up to code. Instead, we have to talk about a concentration camp going up in our backyard. I know that that nobody here decided on that. The state has been very high-handed and chose this with no local input, but we can decide on how we respond to this as a community. We have all seen how ICE agents conduct themselves. Lebanon is a place I like. It's a good place to live. I'm not sure if it'll still be such a nice place with ICE agents running wild all over town. I hope that when the time comes, we can all pull together as a community and do the right thing. Thank you for your time. I yield.
Pastor Ally. Pastor Ally. McKenzie Baker.
Hello, my name is Pastor Ally Hathcock, and I live at 8825 Crescent Glen Court in Antioch. Every Sunday, Christians across Wilson County, across the world, read from 3 portions of the Holy Scriptures, from the Old Testament, the Gospels, and the remainder of the New Testament. From Leviticus 19:33 through 34, when a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as the native among you, and you shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. From Matthew 25:35, for I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. From Hebrews 13:1 through 3, keep on loving one another, brothers and sisters. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to the angels without even knowing it. Continue to remember those in prison as if you together were with them in prison, and those who are mistreated as you yourselves were suffering. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. The pattern we see throughout Scripture, no matter what verse you look at, is this. Number 1, to love God. To number 2, to love our neighbor with no conditions attached. Tonight, the mere fact that we are having to have this conversation shows that we, as a nation, as a state, as a county, have failed to do this. Yeah. When we ignore the effects that this could potentially have on our people, our traffic, our local economy, our infrastructure, our city and county resources, we fail to love our neighbors. When we villainize and dehumanize people who are different than us, people of different races, ethnicities, nationalities, belief systems, and yes, even immigration statuses, we fail to love our neighbor. And if we allow such actions to happen here in Wilson County or anywhere in Tennessee, we are not choosing love, but fear and hate for our neighbor. Growing up, my great-grandmother would dance the Charleston with more joy than you could ever imagine on the church tables in the fellowship hall. But tonight, she and all of our patriot ancestors would be flipping church tables with Jesus. All people must account for the life they have lived, their dying breath.
Thank you, Pastor.
Let us do better.
McKenzie Baker, Shannon Lynch, Nick Pope. Shannon Lynch, Nick Pope. McKenzie.
Hi, my name is McKenzie Baker. I live at 333 Ellis Lane in Lebanon, Tennessee. I just want to thank you all for allowing us to speak. This is very intimidating, as I'm sure you know. I also want to say that, I wasn't sure when I came in here if I was going to be the only person here standing up for this, so it's really good to see everybody standing up as well. My husband and I moved here to Lebanon almost 2 years ago. When we were trying to decide where to move in Middle Tennessee, we were basing our decision on the best place to raise a family. We chose Lebanon because we love the community here, the feeling of loving your neighbor, supporting local business, safety, and good schools. Hearing that an ICE detention
Detention Center may be coming to Lebanon shatters all of those reasons we moved to Lebanon. ICE detention centers are not about loving your neighbor or community. It is the exact opposite. If an ICE detention facility comes to Lebanon, my husband and I will no longer want to raise a family here. Please don't allow this to happen to our community. All immigrants are important, and please just don't let it happen.
Shannon Lynch, Nick Polk, Sarah Payne. Shannon Lynch, Nick Polk, Sharon Payne. Do I have a Shannon Lynch here? Do I have?
It's Sarah, but that's okay. My name is Sarah Payne, and I live on Affirmed Drive in Mount Juliet. Thank you so much for allowing comments and for hearing the numerous perspectives that have been shared today. It is not an easy task to handle the emotions of a community in fear, which is, I believe, the prevailing message that we're hearing tonight. I am a 9-year resident of Tennessee and an 8-year resident of Wilson County. I moved to Tennessee and specifically to Wilson County to finish raising my children. I intentionally settled in Wilson County for its community, its education, its values, and as a single mother, its safety. For the last 8 years, I have spent countless hours as a parent of children at Rutland Elementary, West Wilson Middle, Gladeville Middle, Wilson Central, and Mount Juliet Highs, and most recently, Cumberland and Tennessee Tech Universities. I have chosen to become a certified court-appointed special advocate, or a CASA, serving our county's children through the foster care system. I share all of this to illustrate my dedication to this community. I love this county, the city of Mount Juliet, and what I moved here to contribute to. A love of my neighbor, the belief that we are better together, and a desire to participate in servant leadership. If you are a leader on this commission, I urge you to remember your own oath to serve this community and all of its members. Any deviation by the commission of those values is not representative of what I expect of our leadership and elected officials. I also come before this commission with an additional perspective, that of a lawful, naturalized American citizen. I took the time and significant expense to become a U.S. citizen because I love what this country stands for: liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness. Immigration is a complex and multifaceted issue, and it will require bright minds and open hearts, willing to donate their energy and resources to finding better solutions. I urge the leaders of this county to pause and to ask ourselves if allowing an ICE facility here is contributing to solutions and to the safety of the community that you have been entrusted to be a steward over. We have already seen numerous examples of cruelty, mistreatment, and abuse in other such facilities around the country. ICE has already disrupted our community. I know this because at my last CASA court hearing, I watched as ICE took over our staff room to use it as their holding facility for the day. Is this what Wilson County stands for? Is this the message that we want to send to our fellow Tennesseans, our community members, and our children, my daughter, who is sitting behind me? It is my sincere hope that we can come together to continue building one of the best places to live in Middle Tennessee, shutting out violence, hatred, and exclusion, and welcoming and protecting all who are contributing to our way of life and our values of community, family, and kindness.
Please respect the time, please. Thank you. Nick Polk.
Hi, my name is Nick Polk. I live in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and I work in Lebanon. And just like many people here, I want to speak against the possible establishment of an ICE facility in Wilson County. And along with the reasons of cruelty, I've got some practical issues that I think are relevant to why we shouldn't have it here. ICE facilities end up being funded by taxes and then managed by private prison companies that usually receive tax cuts. And ultimately, us, the citizens of Wilson County, will be footing the bill for the facility. This facility will cultivate nothing but negative economic and relational capital in our community. Wilson County is one of the fastest growing counties in Tennessee, as I don't have to remind y'all. And this growth is bringing business, home buyers, and renters, which means tax revenue to further the development of our infrastructure to meet the needs of our growing community. Not only will this facility cut into Wilson County's tax revenue through its initial development, but make Wilson County less attractive for future businesses and citizens. Additionally, these facilities divide our communities, obviously, making us worse neighbors and therefore a worse place to live. This facility is nothing but a place to sweep away the mess that ICE has made in its unorganized and bloated management, meaning that we, the citizens of Wilson County, will be the ones to have to deal with the collateral damage and fallout of this facility, not DHS or the federal government. Lastly, ICE presence fosters violence, whether perpetuated by its agents or in facilities or those who oppose it, meaning a less safe place to live, work, play, and raise children. Fear and violence is the only net gain Wilson County will receive if this facility is built. Please do everything you can to preserve the safety and well-being of our community and neighbors, and I join many of my neighbors in asking to make a statement, the political words escaping me, a resolution denouncing it and taking it a step further and asking for the complete and total abolition of ICE in general. Thank you.
Yes. Shannon Lynch. Are you Shannon Lynch?
No, but me and him were part of the first 15 people here. Him and I were. So we want to speak.
You will get to speak. I'll call your name out just as soon as I get to it. I promise you.
Through all of them?
Yeah, I ain't been to all of them yet. No, I'm still working through them right now. Do I have a Shannon Lynch? Do I have a Shannon Lynch? Nope. Trinity Escue? Trinity Escue? Come on, please. Heather Weissinger's next, and then Colleen Plameumber. And ma'am, I have a whole another page, so you will be heard, I promise. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Trinity Escue. My address is 1350 Hazelwood Street in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And a lot of the things that I will be addressing, of course, have been touched on already in some detail, but I just want to reiterate, whatever you guys can do, whatever loophole you can find, how much pressure it will take to make sure this does not happen here at detention center, please do so. Because I want you just to really, really consider how this will affect the children that get involved into these situations. I get it. The opinions you may have of the adults in these situations, but the children do not have a choice. As a on and off early childhood educator of 2 years, I have lots of knowledge on what aids a child's development and growth. And the conditions that I have researched and been made aware of that these children are put through in these detention centers are deplorable. They're horrible. And I just want you to take a second and think if this was your child in the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Weissinger. Colleen Plameumber. Heather Weissinger, Colleen Plameumber, and then Charles Smithson.
My name is Heather Weissinger, and I live at 2691 Old Lagardo Road East. I didn't have a lot of time today to prepare comments, so I will try to keep this short and sweet, and anything that I could say has probably already been covered by now. We do not want or need this facility in Lebanon. It will only bring chaos and suffering like we have seen in so many other communities across the country. The details of the economic growth that ICE claimed this facility would bring seem inflated and were not really substantiated in any way. Bringing this facility here would destroy the family-friendly image of Wilson County and discourage people from moving here. People who would actually make a positive contribution to the community. I was raised here in Lebanon and have lived here most of my life. My grandparents lived right across the street from this courthouse on the corner of Cedar Street. I remember many times as a kid standing out on their front porch and looking over here and seeing the courthouse standing tall and proud. Flags out front flying in the breeze. But never in a million years would I have dreamed I'd be here speaking out against something like an immigrant detention facility coming to Lebanon. My grandfather fought in World War II to liberate people from oppression, not to see it brought to his own backyard. I came here tonight not only to honor his service, but also to make sure my kids have a better future and don't have to keep fighting the same battles that we're fighting right now. I ask the County Commission and all local elected officials to take our words tonight to heart. We have overwhelmingly expressed we do not want this here. So we ask you to do everything in your power to make sure that this facility never comes to Lebanon. Thank you.
Colleen Plameumber, Charles Smithson, and Stephen Fox.
Hi. Thank you, commissioners and mayor, for allowing us to speak today. I know this is a lot of people and there are a lot of opinions. I will keep this brief because a lot of wonderful speakers have come before me and stated all the things that I wanted. I just wanted to represent my family, 3 of us who own property and rent property here in Lebanon, and I am a proud resident for 5 years, and I've lived in the state of Tennessee for 30, and I've lived in different places, and this is home, and I don't ever want to leave, but I'm really upset about this detention center coming because it doesn't stand for the volunteer state and to love thy neighbor. Also, I stand in honor of my grandparents. My grandfather was fought in the Battle of Normandy. My father got a waiver into the war. He actually had conditions that would prevent him from not, but he was able to do so and proudly served his country and just passed away recently. And the only pleasant part about that is that he doesn't have to see this. But so I ask you, I know there may be limited information and whatnot and all the things that have been put around, but please think of those that voted for you, that pay taxes, that we don't want this here. It doesn't belong here. Thank you.
Charles Smith, Stephen Fox, Aiden Pratt.
How you doing? Charles Smith, Leland Lane. I'm against an ICE detention facility here. Mainly, for 1,000 reasons, but the big one is we don't have either the room or the infrastructure for it. I noticed that somebody was bringing up a little bit of scripture. Let me go ahead and help them out. John 10:1, truly, truly, I tell you, whoever does not enter the sheepfold by the gate or in some other way is a thief and a robber. There is a process of immigration for a reason, and, I don't think that anybody should have a real hard time understanding that. And one other thing I'll say is I would like you to make a resolution that would force any ICE agents in this county to remove the mask. We won't be having Stasi here. I'm hardcore against that, okay? One thing I noticed with some of the students and some of the people in other cities getting just a little bit rowdy, and it has been a widely spread bad rumor that there is a right to protest. There's not. There's a right to peaceful assembly and to redress grievances against the government. That doesn't mean being a clown and standing in the roads, blocking sidewalks, blocking entrances to business, blocking entrances to homes. It doesn't mean being so loud that you can't conduct business. It doesn't mean being so loud that you disturb people in their homes. As it says, peaceful assembly. That's about all I got. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Stephen Fox, Aiden Pratt, Sydney Ware.
Other countries may seek to compete with us, but in one vital area, I'm Stephen Fox, 4710 Veneto Street in Mount Juliet. Other countries may seek to compete with us, but in one vital area, as a beacon of freedom and opportunity that draws the people of the world, no country on earth comes close. This, I believe, is one of the most important sources of America's greatness. Ronald Reagan said that in 1989. Since then, the perspective has shifted dramatically. Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, and the unelected advisor to the president, Stephen Miller, have turned the misdemeanor of illegal immigration status to one of the most serious crimes in the nation. The rapid expansion of ICE agents has been reckless, inadequate, and catastrophic. American citizens have been brutalized and in some cases killed by federally accredited bullies. Our federal government has lied to our face about these deaths while demanding we shut up and fall in line. In times past, ICE worked closely with regional law enforcement to locate and apprehend illegal immigrants engaging in criminal activity. This type of collaboration is critical. Criminals Criminals do not self-identify. Without evidence and the aid of local police, it is nearly impossible to differentiate between individuals who are citizens, legal immigrants, illegal immigrants, or anyone along the spectrum. As a result, the massive new ICE force filled with inexperienced agents assigned with daily quotas has no clue how to determine who is and isn't illegal. So they brutalize the community like bullies and vigilantes. The result has been a less effective and more abusive ICE than those under previous administrations, even Democratic ones. Look it up. Results aren't the point, though. Submission is. Tennessee government has already failed its people in pursuit of Donald Trump's approval. Our voter rolls have been surrendered to a federal government with no right to them. Our governor has cowered before this administration at every turn. And now, Stephen Miller's pet project of a modern-day concentration camp in our backyard, filled to the roof with immigrants, warrantless door-to-door searches, masked paramilitary forces on our streets, elimination of due process. This is what we accept when ICE is welcome in Wilson County. The time has come for all of us to decide what is important. Will we resist a federal government bent on stripping away our inalienable rights? Will we put country above party? Will we stop kissing the ring of federal government determined to oversee local elections, cage neighbors without trial, and protect those who would abuse children? Or are we dedicated to the idea of a king and his court scrubbing away illegal immigrants? Are we willing to abandon decency and every other principle this country claims to embody and is exemplified by its Statue of Liberty? And I have one last statement. For those of you who still align with Donald Trump, who still, without shame, align yourselves as Republicans, what the hell are you doing?
Please do not cuss in here. Thank you. Aiden Pratt. Aiden Pratt, Sydney Ware, Stephen Martin. Please do not use profanity in the court, please. Aiden.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Aiden Pratt, and I live at 502 Fairview Avenue in Lebanon, Tennessee. I'm here tonight because not only am I a community member, I'm a candidate for Wilson County Commission District 19. Wilson County deserves leaders who will protect our community, not leaders who will open the door of fear and federal violence. I've been to Minneapolis. I saw firsthand what happened when ICE comes into a city with militarized force, what happens when terror is brought into communities, and what happens when fear is spread throughout everyday people. How even peaceful observers can be met with fear, force, tear gas, and intimidation. National news has documented these aggressive tactics and the protests that followed, and the human life has been riddled. We know of 2 U.S. citizens fatally shot by federal agents there. Renee Good, a mother out of her community, and Alex Preddy, a nurse trying to help a woman at a protest, both killed during Operation Metro Surge. But the list of people whose lives have been lost in ICE enforcement reaches beyond those 2. Lives have been taken inside detention, medically compromised, in custody, or lost while detained across the country. Among them are Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Jean Brutus, Keith Porter, Jose Rivera, and Miguel Garcia. These are human beings, sons, fathers, mothers, workers, and neighbors, not statistics. So tonight I invite everyone in this room to say their names with me. Renee Good, Alex Preddy, Jean Brutus, Keith Porter, Jose Rivera, Miguel Garcia. These names represent real lives that were cut short in the context of federal enforcement and detention policies. And make no mistake, if a facility like this one is being proposed comes to Wilson County, these stories will no longer feel distant. They will become of our lived reality. You are elected to serve the people of Wilson County. You answer to us, not the other way around. The families, the workers, the students, and your neighbors, not to federal agencies or distant bureaucrats. We do not want ICE here. We reject it, quite frankly, and we will not take no for an answer. And that includes Sheriff Bryan, who has continuously partnered with these Nazis.
Please talk to the...
Thank you.
Sydney Ware, Jeremy Hyatt, Cassidy Bookout.
Good evening. My name is Sidney Ware Jr. I live at 1104 Winter Grace Farm Court, Old Hickory, Tennessee, and I serve as a student leader at Middle Tennessee State University and someone who believes deeply in building communities that reflect dignity, opportunity, and unity. I'm here today to respectfully but strongly oppose the proposal to rezone land in order to build an ICE detention facility in Wilson County, because this decision is not just about zoning. It is about the kind of values Wilson County chooses to represent as a community. Federal oversight agencies have documented serious concerns about conditions in immigration detention facilities across the country. Reports from the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Inspector General have identified violations of detention standards, including issues related to medical care, safety conditions, and treatment of detainees. The U.S. Government Accountability Office has also reported that immense improvements are needed to ensure detention environments are safe and even humane. These are not political statements. These are findings from our own government watchdog agencies. Because of these documented concerns, many communities have questioned whether detention facilities truly strengthen local areas. Research and experiences from other regions show that they often create division, erode trust between residents and institutions, and do not provide the kind of long-term economic investment that builds sustainable community growth. As a young leader, I think constantly about what kind of future we are creating. I think about whether our decisions bring people together or push people further apart. I think about whether we are investing in opportunity or investing in systems that isolate and divide. Wilson County has an opportunity to lead by choosing investments that build stronger communities, education, workforce development, safe neighborhoods, and economic opportunity. The issue posed before you all tonight and how you take actions will show a lot about your character and what you all stand for. I respectfully urge you to reject this proposal and choose a path that reflects unity, dignity, and commitment to the long-term well-being of the entire Wilson County community. Thank you for your time.
Jeremy Hyatt, Cassidy Bookout, Chelsea Madden. Is there a Jeremy Hyatt in here? Please line up if you don't mind. Cassidy Bookout next, Chelsea Madden, and Rot Gray.
Commissioners, Mayor, thank you for the time. My name is Jeremy Hyatt. I live at 901 Bay Drive in District 1. I'm a historian by training, a journalist by profession, and I've been a public employee for the past 20 years. I'm compelled to speak against the attempt to build the so-called ICE detention facility in our community. The abuses of the administration are thinly veiled attempts to normalize ethnic cleansing. It meets the definition. Under the false premise of promising public safety, the pretense traffic stops deployed by ICE in Memphis have overwhelmed the local courts and jails. I encourage you to talk through your peers in Shelby County, work through CTAS, look at the impact that has had. Residents whose only crime was a traffic violation are now caught in the inescapable machinery of the courts because of new restrictions under bail and the recently revised state laws that prohibit them from being out twice under bail. These real human costs will be brought here and inflicted upon taxpayers under the sheriff's agreement with ICE. Our community's values are directly threatened by this facility and the co-opting of our local law enforcement into this effort. As elected officials, you will not be able to claim ignorance of ICE abuses from the illegal kidnappings, false imprisonment, the egregious human rights abuses, and the deaths. These have already been exhaustively documented by the people here, as well as the people in Minnesota, Georgia, California, and Texas. I urge you to take every measure available to reject this intrusion into our community. In the spirit of Sir Winston Churchill speaking under the threat of imminent Nazi invasion, we will fight them, we will never surrender. And history will never forget the actions or lack of actions that you take here. Thank you for hearing my words.
Cassidy Bookout, Chelsea Madden, Rot Gray, Aaron Smith.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Bookout. I live over on 813 Buckshot Court in Lebanon, Tennessee. Sorry if I quaver. I'm not good with crowds, and there's a lot of eyes here. I'm somebody who has family that is Native, family who's from the Middle East, family that fought in World War II, and all I ask is, we have a very big group of Kurdish people here in Middle Tennessee, the biggest in the entire world, actually. I ask that whenever we act, that we think about them, and we think about their families, we think about our neighbors. I have Latin neighbors. I have one who has a little boy who looks just like Liam, and that is all that I saw when I saw him. My dad moved us up here from Florida when I was really young, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of fighting him on it whenever we first moved here. I didn't really like Tennessee, but since having moved here, I have felt so much love, so much care, so much friendliness. When I learned that we were called the volunteer state and why, I felt represented by that, and I felt like I had a home here in this country. And I just ask that we not let anybody else have to flee another genocide if we can, and that when we act with that volunteer spirit that I believe that our state should represent. That's all.
You got it, baby.
Chelsea Madden, Wright Gray. Chelsea Madden.
My name is Chelsea Madden. I live at 19 Hamilton Station, Lebanon, Tennessee. I've been a resident of Wilson County since 2020. I've lived in Tennessee my whole life. I can trace my ancestors to 1700, being original settlers here. But before that, they were immigrants fleeing British Isles and Germany due to instability, violence, and economic hardships in their homelands. I'm here today in opposition of ICE detention centers. I come from a long line of people who advocated for civil, human, and women's rights. My favorite is Anna Eleanor Roosevelt. I believe ICE detention centers are a violation of human rights and civil rights due to their inhumane conditions and treatment. Last year, 32 people died in ICE detention. These are facts. Conditions are abusive and include lack of medical care, sexual assault, extensive solitary confinement. People die from seizures, heart failure, strokes, respiratory failure, tuberculosis, or suicide. I call this abuse. I'm ashamed of everyone who is for this. It costs taxpayers $152 per day per person. The system is now working toward indefinite detention, stripping the right of a bond hearing. 62% have no attorney, as there is no right to government-funded legal representation in civil immigration cases. Not to mention, it creates a climate of fear in communities, and in some cases, U.S. citizens have been wrongfully detained or arrested based on racial profiling. In the death of Renee Nicole Good, mother of 3, Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse, both who were American citizens. The humanitarian approach is to release people to their families while their cases are processed. This is 2026, and there is no room for anything but a humanitarian approach. I'm sick of watching our children and communities be engulfed in fear because of ICE, who follows no due process. They are masked thugs, and this cannot be tolerated. We all come from immigration somewhere down the line. Immigrants add to our communities, not take. ICE is a racist and lawless approach, and it must stop now. Creating fear only creates division, and what will we become if we allow that? This is not the example we should be setting for our children. The only way to be better is do better. We are in an important moment in history, and I've always loved the diversity of the state. I wouldn't be who I am today without diversity. People of a different background are to be celebrated, not rated. They are not a threat. They are not animals. They are human beings, same as you and me. I look at my children and have no idea where their futures land, because this will affect all of us. And to think it doesn't is pure ignorance. Furthermore, ICE does not reflect our values and only causes harm, no good. Relevant quotes from my ancestor, Anna Eleanor Roosevelt: "It is not fair to ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself, and hate and force cannot be in just a part of the world without having an effect on the rest of it. I ask you to evolve and not return to barbaric ways. ICE out of our communities, human rights for all, God is watching, and Sahasin." Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. The other two didn't want to let us, and it shows me exactly you're the type that needs to be in the role that you're in, because you allowed us to speak. So I really do thank you for that.
Wrights Gray, Ian Smith, and Ron Oster.
Hi, my name is Winter Gray.
My bad.
About that. Handwriting's bad. I am at Quarry Road in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I don't really remember the district number. And I apologize in advance. I forgot my phone in the car. So we're going to go a little off the cuff here. I was born in Sumner County, in Gallatin, Sumner Regional Medical Center in 1988. I have been between here and there my entire life. It's really interesting that I can say that I came from a different county and there is no issue, but if I were to say I came from a different country, everything gets harder. I want you to scale yourselves down a little bit. States, countries, all that. We'll go small. Would you want, let's say, somebody from Smith County to come here into Wilson County and deal with the issues that people who are coming from Mexico and everywhere else that are being dealt with by ICE? Would you want that to happen to people who you probably know as neighbors? Would you want to deal with the perspective of that? Because that's all it is bigger. Yeah, we have to deal with passports, and we have to deal with all the laws, and we have to deal with all of those changes and all of those legalities. But someone earlier did say, no one is illegal on stolen land. That is true. But the other thing that stands is we had a big issue at some point about the Gulf of Mexico or America or whatever you want to call it, but Mexico is not an English word. It is a Nahuatl word. It's a Utah Aztecan word. Utah in that being the native tribes in the place we know as Utah. So we use a indigenous word to talk about illegal people. That should be something that you know. If you didn't, happy to teach. As it stands, I know where I came from. I can go all the way back 15th century. Thomas Godwin, Captain Virginia Colony. Prior to that, England. There are people being detained by ICE who are more native than me. That's it.
Alan Smith and Ron Austria. Alan Smith, is Ron Austria here? Please line up if you are.
I'm gonna grab this from. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ione Smith. I've been a Tennessean since 1969, and I've lived in Wilson County on Spring Creek Road since 2008. So I'm a longtime local property owner and member of the community. Everyone should oppose this planned detention center, regardless of their party affiliation or political leanings. First, ICE is promising that a detention center will bring economic benefits to our area. But look at their record. They aren't even paying their own agents. We are seeing more and more complaints from ICE agents who aren't receiving their bonuses or even their base salaries. And multiple ICE officers have been caught lying under oath in courts and on reports. And we can't even get a straight story on this proposed prison. There is no reason for us to believe any of their promises. Further, ICE has caused serious economic harm in many areas, like the detention of 300 Korean workers in Georgia, which disrupted the development of a plant there and damaged our connections with South Korea. And elsewhere, the ICE surge has already cost an estimated $200 million to the Minnesota economy from losses in small business revenue, reduced consumer spending, staffing shortages, and construction delays. And their activities in Los Angeles County last year cost that local community more than $800 million. ICE detention centers themselves are estimated to cost more than $50 billion annually for policing and detention. And additional costs for local residents include the loss of tax revenues, since federal facilities are tax exempt. One proposed facility was estimated to cause an annual loss of $1.6 million in local property taxes alone. And there are many other costs that we local taxpayers would be stuck with, from detainee health care to increased local policing to increased workloads on the local courts. And don't expect ICE to pay these expenses. ICE detention centers have already lost their health care services in some areas because of canceling their contract with the Department of Veterans Affairs Financial Services Center. In 2025 alone, there was an estimated gap of $300 million between needed medical care and what was actually paid for. Second, one of the major complaints I hear over and over from people in Lebanon is that our city is growing too fast and without enough planning. Traffic gets worse by the day, and new apartment complexes and liquor stores and car washes are going up left and right. And now here comes ICE, shoving their way into our town with zero planning, zero notice, and zero transparency. Do you think they care one bit about their impact on our daily lives? Of course not. They don't care about increased traffic demands. They don't care about the costs of new roads or new utilities or new construction. They don't care about the numbers of transient workers coming to and from the prison or the prisoners being bussed in and out.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thank you. Mr. Ron?
Mr. Mayor.
Could the council people pay attention
Yes, please.
instead of doing homework? Brown jacket?
It's your turn, sir.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Ron Ostreicher. I'm an almost 8-year resident of Wilson County, and I do love it here. One of the things that I noticed when I first moved here was that this county is overwhelmingly Christian. And a little bit about me, I am not a Christian. I was raised in a Jewish family. And because of that, I grew up with relatives that had numbers tattooed on their arms from being in the Nazi concentration camps in World War II. I heard all of their stories growing up. As a boy growing up in New York City, I went to school with some other kids who were refugees from the former Soviet Union. I heard their stories. I am very much against this ICE detention center, whether it's actually happening or whether it's a rumor, but I came here tonight because one of the things that I was raised with was the idea that evil flourishes while good men do nothing. Amen. That's not my words, but it's something that's shaped my life. And we are a nation of laws, and there is a place for immigration and customs enforcement. However, this is not the way we should be going about it. And for anybody who's just being silent, I couldn't be silent anymore, so I had to come up here and speak my piece. And I'll use somebody else's words with the remaining time I have, and those are the words of Pastor Martin Niemroller, who in World War II said, "First they came for the Jews. I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't speak up. Then they came for the communists. I wasn't communist, so I didn't speak up. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't speak up. And then they came for me. There was no one left to speak up." I'm asking everybody here, is this who we are? Is this what we want to be?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Thank you. This concludes our public comment time. Everybody have spoken. We do have business now to take care of here in the commission meeting, so if you would exit quietly, if you want to stay, you're welcome to, but we will get to a business that we have here. So we close public comment. I'll go to the report from the steering committee. Commissioner Fields.
On Thursday, February the 5th, in the upstairs conference room. A copy of those minutes are in your packet. I move that they be received and filed.
All right, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. I think they want to get through the honoraries before we can take a break. I understand everybody wants a break, but they got some back here, so that's what I've been instructed. But if you overrule me, Mr. Glover, I'll be glad to go that route. Adoption of the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, everyone should have a copy of the agenda. If there are no additions or subtractions or errors, I move that it be adopted as presented.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Consent agenda, Commissioner Fields.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do have a consent agenda tonight. It's Resolution 26-2-2. I move that it be approved.
Got a motion and a second. You ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Costley? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes. Special recognition, Commissioner Breeze.
Good evening,
everyone. I want to apologize for stepping out while some of you were speaking. My guests who were here this evening to accept a copy of this resolution honoring the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, that were here to accept it for the Roy Bailey African American Museum and History Center went home. So that's why I stepped out, was to speak to them for a moment, since they were not able to stay to actually accept this resolution. So again, I apologize for stepping out, but that's why. I would very much like to invite forward Dion Jones with the NAACP here of Wilson County, and Linda Grandstaff, who is our Wilson County archivist. And as they're walking up here, I am proud to say that this resolution was sponsored by all 25 county commissioners as well as our county mayor. So if you would just stand here and here. Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, recognizing and honoring the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. Whereas 2026 marks 100 years of honoring the contributions of Black Americans, and whereas what started as Negro History Week in 1926 developed into Black History Month by 1970. And whereas there have been thousands of Black Americans who have contributed to the history of Wilson County. And whereas perhaps one of the most well-known was W.E.B. Du Bois, one of the founding members of the NAACP, who, according to his book, The Souls of Black Folk, written in 1903, makes reference to his time teaching in rural Wilson County near Watertown. And whereas there have been so many other individuals who have made significant contributions to Black history in Wilson County, including but certainly not limited to S. Jordan, the first Black person elected to public office, to the Wilson County Quarterly Court in 1876. Jake Owens, a Reconstruction era politician who helped centralize Black political power following slavery. Benjamin and Sarah Ann Manson, who helped organize and provide aid to the newly freed slaves after the Civil War. Benjamin Manson also served as an AME minister. A.C. Wharton, a community leader and owner of a grocery store whose son, A.C. Wharton Jr., served as mayor of Shelby County and mayor of the city of Memphis. J.R. Inman, who helped found the Wilson County Colored Teachers Association and played a key role in recruiting Black teachers to the area. Fred B. Baston, who served as principal of the Black Division at Castle Heights School. Reverend Cordell Sloan, who led efforts to have Wilson County schools desegregated in the early 1960s. William M. Menier, also known as C.L. Menier, a World War I veteran and law enforcement officer for both the Wilson County Sheriff's Department and the Lebanon Police Department. LPD headquarters is named in his honor. Fred Burton, a radio DJ for more than 40 years, who also served as a City of Lebanon councilman for 30 years. Harry Watkins Sr., Ed C., and Robert Stokes, who rechartered the Wilson County Civic League. Johnny Q. Crudup served as on the Martin Luther King Task Force in Wilson County and was the president of the local chapter of the NAACP and received the President of the Century Award in 1999. Esther Hockett graduated from Wilson County High School in 1959, attended college at Tennessee State University, and returned to Wilson County as an educator and librarian for nearly 60 years, spending 6 years at Wilson County High School and the rest of her career at Mount Juliet High School. Johnny Payton, one of the first students to integrate Lebanon High School, who went on to be a longtime teacher in Wilson County schools, president of the Lebanon Education Association, and later served on the Wilson County Board of Education. And Ms. Mary Harris, who was here this evening but wasn't able to stay, president and chair of the Wilson County Black History Committee, who works to restore Pickett Chapel and preserves the contributions of the many Black citizens in the Roy Bailey African American Museum and History Center. Whereas as we mark the centennial of what grew from Negro History Week into Black History Month, it's important to note from its inception Black History Month has served as a powerful declaration that Black history is American history, with Wilson County and its Black citizens playing an important and historical role. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, that on the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, we recognize and honor the significant contributions made by many and present an official copy of this resolution to the Roy Bailey African American Museum and History Center, which will be done after the fact, the Wilson County Archives, and the Wilson County chapter of the NAACP.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
I wasn't prepared to have comments, but I do want to just take a moment and say thank you so much for this incredible honor. It's such an honor and a privilege to be recognized by our county government, and I want to say thank you to Mayor Hutto and his staff for always being supportive of the work that we do in our community. You have been a tremendous support to us, and we really appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to all of those that came to support us tonight. We have our president from the Nashville branch that is here tonight, Mr. Timothy Hughes. Thank you so much for driving out here and supporting us this evening. And I want to say a special thank you to Commissioner Lauren Breeze. You did not have to do this, but we are grateful that you took the time and put in the effort to put this together for us. So thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate it.
Could I ask one favor right quick? Would you introduce yourself and your people that are with you, sir? Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening. My name is Timothy Hughes. I'm the president of the National Branch of the NAACP, and so grateful to be here and welcomed by this wonderful community. My partner, Sharon Sullivan, also here with me. And grateful to have the opportunity to have an audience for this wonderful display of democracy. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And Mayor, if I may, we also have members of our executive committee. If you all want to just acknowledge yourself, wave real quick. I don't want to take up too much more time, but I want to acknowledge you all and appreciate you all for being here with me tonight as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Linda?
Well, this is an honor to get this for the archives, Wilson County Archives. I've worked with a lot of black families, a lot of white families, and other families doing their research, and we've got some of the nicest people in our community, and I see them all the time, and so it's just an honor for me to take this back to the archives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Linda, for your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you do in the archives. We really appreciate that. We're the best in the state, I believe. Commissioner Evans, for 4-H, not going to do it tonight?
They're March. They've asked to go to March.
My bad. Didn't know that. Okay. Commissioner Glover, you still want to recess?
Recess 5 minutes.
5-minute recess. Your second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. I'd like to call to order, back to order the County Commission meeting. This time we'll have a public hearing on the land use amendments, and I'll ask Christopher, need to go out of session, please. Person to go out of session. All in favor say aye. Christopher, take over.
A public hearing will be held before the Wilson County Commission on Tuesday, February 17th at 7 p.m. or thereafter in the County Commission Room of the Wilson County Courthouse, 228 East Main Street. Items for consideration tonight. We have an application made by Jim Luckins with Ware Malcolm, Inc., representing property owners Penelope Ney and William Register, requesting a land use plan amendment from low-density residential area to medium and high-density to medium and high-intensity commercial area. The applicant also seeks to rezone the same properties from R1 rural residential to C4 planned commercial. The property contains approximately 17.97 acres and is located at 2356 and 2416 McCreary Road, and is further referenced as parcels 1501 and 1503 on Wilson County Tax Map 137. Application has also been made by Land Solutions Company, LLC, representing property owner Darrell Cagle, requesting a land use plan amendment from low-density residential area to high-density, high-intensity commercial area. The applicant also seeks to rezone the same properties from R1 rural residential to C3 highway commercial. The property contains approximately 2.83 acres and is located on McCreary Road, and is further referenced as parcel 36.14 on Wilson County Tax Map 137. Also for public hearing tonight are two resolutions. The first one being amending the Wilson County zoning ordinance regulating accessory detached dwelling units and how they are defined, and a resolution amending the maximum height of principal and accessory structures. Although a copy of all these requests are on file in the Wilson County Planning Office, anybody wishing to speak is motioned to attend.
Anyone here wishing to speak on either one of these properties tonight may step forward, state your name and address for the record, or the rezoning on the accessory dwellings definition.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate your time this evening. My name is Dave Poquette, and I work for LBA Logistics, the developer of the Crossroads rezoning application on Logistics Drive. The applicant is Jim Lukens here with me from Ware Malcolm, and the properties are owned by the Ney and Register families. Our application was deferred by the Commission during the December meeting, and we decided to defer again in January to study potential improvements at the intersection of Logistics Drive and Couchville Pike. With Commissioner Haskell and Hobbs' guidance, we came up with the following proposal, which is attached to our application. With the county's approval of the rezoning application, the developer will commit to placing $75,000 for the county's use to make improvements at the intersection of Couchville Pike and Logistics Drive. The developer's contribution is to be funded into an escrow account prior to picking up any building permits for the development. The appropriate language regarding the escrow agreement is to be created with the assistance of the county's legal representative and an agreement with the developer. An escrow account can be set up with a third-party title agency and will have a 3-year life commencing with the developer's initial payment of $75,000. Funds contributed by the developer are to be returned if not spent on improvements at the intersection within a 3-year time frame. With this proposal in place, we kindly request your support for our rezoning application. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Jim Lukens, the applicant, 3401 Mallory Lane, Franklin, Tennessee. We're in agreement with the staff comments plus the addition of the escrow.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Nick Bradley, 2925 Berry Hill Drive, Nashville, Tennessee. Just here to speak on the Cagle property rezone. Just here if the County Commission has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Thank you.
Sean Smith. I live at 163 Ligon Road in Lebanon, and I'm here about the what I'm calling the mother-in-law suite or the thing. And I just wanted to say that I've heard a bunch of talk about it, and my mother-in-law had to move in with us because my father-in-law died, and we have a 2,000 square foot house. It's not a huge house, but but at 600 square feet, I can't build her a house. It's actually more expensive to build a 600 square foot house than it is an 800 square foot house, because they don't want to come build it for that cheaper price. But all the rules that are already here, really all we're talking about is increasing the square footage, because all the laws are already on the books. Just 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen. That's it. You can't have more than that. You have a setback, and it's so, like if you're talking about little properties like a 1/4 acre lot or something like that, you have a setback already. They can't build it too much, and you have a 35%. It has to be, can't be more than 35% of a dwelling. So if it's a 1/4 acre and you have a 3,000 square foot house, you can't even probably build it at 700 square feet, because it has to be under that 35%. The other one would be, and the biggest one is, you have to have a septic plant. So if you don't zoned and you don't have an extra septic system or a thing to be able to do it, you can't build it again. In my situation, I have 5.5 acres. I have 3 bedroom, and I have a perk site for 4 bedroom. So I'm just trying to build something for my mother-in-law. I read a book, and the last 10 years of people's life is like the hardest, and I don't want her to live in a dump, to be quite frank. And looking back at all the stuff, I just don't see any negative to increasing it 200 or 300 or 400 or whatever we're saying. That's all I have.
Anyone else wishing to speak to the county commission on any of these properties or rezonings? Seeing none, take a motion to go back into session. All in favor say aye. Aye. Christopher.
All right, the first item up for your all's consideration is the rezoning that was submitted by Jim Lukens with Ware Malcolm. Again, this is amending the land use plan from low-density residential to medium and high-density commercial, and they're also rezoning the property from R1 rural residential to C4 planned commercial. It is approximately 17.97 acres and is located at 2356 and 2416 McCreary Road, and is further referenced as parcels 1501 and 1503 on Wilson County Tax Map 137. The rezoning request was presented to the Wilson County Planning Commission on Friday, October 17th, 2025. This is being forwarded to the Wilson County Commission with a positive recommendation. Again, this was deferred by the applicant from your January 17th meeting to look into the traffic signal. A letter that they discussed is in your packet that will be part of the rezoning. So those fees, once we have, they do have a 3-year time clock as stated in the letter. That letter, unless other guidance is given, will probably be, that check will probably be requested prior to stamping site plans before issuance of a building permit. And that way I can hold them to the same standards I would. We already have a check there for sewer access payments that this site will have to go through, and that'll just be another box they'll have to check before they can get any sort of building permit on the site, unless you all have another time period that you'd like to request that.
Commissioner Hobbs, it's in your district.
I believe I can speak for me and Commissioner Evans both. We're both good with this project.
Do I hear a motion? Or Commissioner Evans, you want to speak? Nope.
I did have a question, Christopher. The escrow account that he described, that was not exactly what we had talked about, was it?
What part of it?
As far as depositing the funds into an escrow account, or am I not understanding an escrow account?
Well, I'm going to have to rely on Aaron to speak about what exactly funds, but I did talk with Aaron and Attorney Jennings about if we could hold these funds in reservation and not have any issue, and they'd be earmarked specifically for this project. The answer I got was yes, but I'll have to have Aaron answer the escrow question.
So when the money comes in, Commissioner Evans, it will go into a customer deposits payable liability, where it will sit by itself. Where in the term, which I think, did you say 3 years?
3 years, yes, sir.
At the end of that 3 years, it will either be paid out of that customer deposits payable for said purpose, whether that's a traffic light or whatever it is, or it will be returned back to the people that gave it to us, because we will not have fulfilled the obligation, one of those two. Well, I think in my vernacular, it does.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Any other questions or a motion? Do I hear a motion? Got a motion and a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Let the record reflect as unanimous. Christopher?
The next item is the rezoning of the Cagle property. Application has been made by Land Solutions, and this is represented owner Daryl Cagle. You are doing a land use amendment from low-density residential area to high-density, high-intensity commercial area. The applicant is also going to rezone the property from R1 rural residential to C3 highway commercial. The property contains approximately 2.83 acres and is located at McCreary Road and is further referenced as parcel 36.14 on Wilson County Tax Map 137. This rezoning request was presented to the Planning Commission on Friday, December 19th, and is being forwarded to you with a positive recommendation. This is the highlighted parcel in front of you. This is part of a larger project. The only thing on this particular parcel is a drive access and maybe, or a drive access and some detention that is going to overall serve the sites to the south and the east that you've all already rezoned. There's not any additional commercial on this property. They're just rezoning it to match the existing zoning.
Commissioner Hobbs, it's in your district, I believe?
Yeah. It's on my side of the road, but it's right on me in Haskell again. Of course, every month, me and him both are going to have one. We're good with this one also. It's part of the ongoing project out there.
So is it a motion?
Motion approved.
I got a motion, second discussion. Anybody? Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Christopher?
Are we doing my resolutions now too?
Yeah, you're going to do the two resolutions that we have that rezonings, please.
Okay. First resolution before you is the resolution to propose amending the Wilson County zoning ordinance, amending the detached dwelling unit and how it is defined. The biggest articles in this is just the detached portion of this section. The changes from 600 square feet currently up to 1,000 square feet, and there's redefining the definition to specifically identify one bedroom or sleeping quarters area, one full bathroom, and one accessory kitchen, and then one living/dining area. That language was put in there because we had some people abusing the existing definition. We had some that were going in with offices or half baths, and I don't think that was ever the intent of these. This was presented to the Planning Commission on December 19, 2025, and it does have a positive recommendation of approval. I have been asked by the Planning Commission at my January meeting. They have had second guesses or reservations on that positive recommendation just due to the size requirement that is in there. Some members feel that 1,000 square feet may be too generous in that regards, but that is not part of the motion. I was just asked to present that to you. I can elaborate on that if you have any other questions about what was said at that meeting.
Commissioner Breeze? I'm sorry, I got a motion to approve and a second. Now we have discussion. Commissioner Breeze?
I just have a question. Being that this actually applies to A1, A2, R1, and R2, and obviously there's lots of different lot sizes involved there, my only concern is that with the smaller lots for R1 and R2, trying to put 1,000 square feet, I know the gentleman discussed this, but I wanted to clarify with you and make sure that we're not going to end up with 1,000 square foot accessory dwelling on top of, a quarter of an acre or less, correct?
We have a lot coverage rule of 35%. So if you have a 10,000 square foot lot in that, that would allow 3,500 square feet of footprint coverage from structures. They could go multiple stories, so that's not going to count. But if you would allow 3,500 square foot in structures that cover the ground on a 10,000 square foot lot to make it completely clean. But to answer your question, if somebody had a 3,000 square foot house on a property, they would not be able to qualify for the full 1,000 because they'd be violation of that. Those lots are unique in R2. We do have some R1 clusters that would probably get close to some of those, but I mean, that's already an issue with the 600 square feet if the home covers too much of the lot.
Okay, that's why I wanted to double check. A lot of my district is R1, and
Yeah. You're allowing more square footage, but if they're already close to those coverage amounts, they're going to be there whether it's a 600 or 1,000 square foot structure.
okay, I was concerned about impervious coverage of lots and causing flooding issues, so that's why I was asking.
Commissioner Dow?
Yeah, I was at this planning commission meeting or whatever, and I had spoken with Sean, and it's hard to find, I guess, a drawing or whatever, or to make this work on, 600 square foot's not going to work. My father-in-law, I'm in the same shape that Sean is. My father-in-law, he moved in with us for a while, and finally I got him back to his house. So, but I know the time is coming to where we're going to have to deal with it. So I was with Sean on this and trying to make amends to where I can have something to maneuver around. But be looking for this again. When you say 1,000 square foot, me and Haskell and I was talking about it, and I appreciate him bringing it up and, working with Sean to trying to get it done or whatever. And we just happened to be looking for some of the same stuff. And I know y'all want to go home, so that's the reason why I'm sitting here talking about it. But you're probably going to see this again, because I do think 1,000 foot is probably, I know it's not on the table and we can't do anything about it. We have to vote for what's on in front of us, but I do think 1,000 foot may be a little bit excessive, and I think I said that at the planning commission with,
It is.
but it's a little bit excessive, and I think that's what their reserves are.
Yep.
That it was a little bit big. So I say I make, well, somebody's done made a motion to pass it or whatever. I say we pass it, and then maybe, I don't know how that works. We may go back and amend it if it starts getting array. I don't know.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall?
I'm just wanting to get some clarification. You were talking about the 35% of the coverage of the lot size. That's just the footprint of the structures, correct? Like, so they could have, if they have, say, 3,000 square foot house on a 10,000 square foot lot, they could still build a 1,000 square foot structure if they only have a 500 square foot footprint. Is that correct?
Yeah, you could make its footprint, so it could be a two-story.
Two-story, 500 per.
Be an interesting ADU, but
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but theoretically.
Yes.
Okay.
It's footprint coverage, not square footage.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions, are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Christopher?
The second resolution is the resolution adopting for amending the Wilson County zoning ordinance regulating maximum height of principal and accessory structures. That is the section under. The resolution before you is only amending the height for accessory structures. The language as presented, this is going to be the same. It's R1, R2, A1, and A2 are the districts that it aligns. The language that is changing, all minimum accessory structures shall not exceed 22 feet. That is staying the same, and that is for the accessory structure setback, which on all those districts is 10 feet. And then what is being added is accessory structures which meet the minimum principal setbacks shall not exceed 30 feet in height. Accessory structures which meet the minimum accessory setbacks but do not meet the minimum principal setbacks for their zoning district may be up to 30 feet in height if they match the predominant two roof pitch angles and building material of a primary residential structure. So that's stating if you meet the primary structure setbacks on those districts, you could go up to 30 feet. Primary structure setbacks for R1 is 15 foot, A1 and A2 is 20 foot, and R2 is 10 foot. So it doesn't really have a drastic effect in R2 as it does the other three districts. This resolution is being proposed to you with an amendment from the Planning Commission. That amendment is as to meet the principal structure setback for an accessory structure. that would be allowed to be no more than 26 feet in height. They're leaving the existing accessory structure height at 22 feet. If you meet the principal structure height, they're allowing it to go up to 26 feet as opposed to the 30 feet, which was in the original resolution, with the ability to add 1 additional foot for every 10 additional feet the structure is from the principal structure setback requirement. So the best way to give you that example is R1's principal structure setback is 15 feet. If you choose to go 25 feet off of the property line as opposed to the 15 feet required, that would allow you a structure of 27 feet. If you just match the principal, you'd be at 26, and you get to add an additional foot for every 10 feet you move from the property line.
Commissioner Kurtz?
I thought the amendment that the Planning Commission put on there, I thought they could not do that. I thought it had to go back through committee. I thought they could only vote up or down. Didn't we get ourselves in a little trouble on something before?
It's a recommended amendment. You have to choose to accept it, but that amendment has, the reason that you got in trouble before, to my knowledge, was that amendment was not advertised. We advertised and made all this knowledge available to anybody that wanted to see it.
That doesn't have to go back through committee, though?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
What's your recommendation? Staff recommendation? 30 or drop it back down?
I wrote it as the 30. The recommendation from the Planning Commission is positive with the amendment of 26.
What's your recommendation?
It is, that's a suggestion from the
It is a suggestion, yes, sir. I wrote it as the 30. You can take it as you want it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve as written, second. Any other discussion? Anybody? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Got 1 no. Everybody else is yes. Thank you, Christopher. We'll move forward. Reading of the minutes, report for the Minutes Committee. Commissioner Fields.
Yeah, Mayor, the Minutes Committee made the regular session on Thursday, February the 5th, in the upstairs conference room. A copy of those minutes are in your packet. I'll move that they be received and filed.
Got a motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Reading of the minutes.
Motion to approve. Motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes. Second.
All in favor say aye. It's kind of weak. I'm going to, just to let this has to be read into the minutes, reappointment of Tracy Vaughn to serve on the West Wilson Utility District Commission until February of 2020 and 2030. Just to let you know that, and that's all I had to say there. I'm going to go to elections and appointments. Anybody else to be added to the notary list? All good? Do I hear a motion on the notary list?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Report from Emergency Management Committee, Commissioner Bernard.
EMA met Tuesday, February 3rd, 5:30 upstairs in the conference room. Minutes in the packet. I move they be received and filed.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. EMA report from Director Cooper.
Thank you. Just a few items. Previously, Category B, the emergency protection measures, was the only thing that was approved on the declaration. Today, we were advised that the debris removal, and we're fully covered with the disaster, so that's good news under the declaration. In part of that, with the warming shelter operations, I do want to go on record and thank the Ag Center and Josh Majors, Faith Lutheran Church on West Main Street, Volunteer Network, Regina and Jamie, and the Sheriff's Department for their help with the warming shelters and making those go pretty good. I think we only removed a couple people that needed to be removed anyway. As far as the debris removal, we are going to work on areas of actually identifying locations and actual communities that they will be going to. That way the public will know and the residents will know. We're going to start working on that, which I know they already started Friday, and mainly in Lakeview area, going going around. But I do want to put out actual roads and areas that they will be in, so you'll know coming up. So other than that, that concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Director Cooper. Report from the Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner Kurtz.
Law Enforcement Committee met on Thursday, February 5th at the upstairs conference room. Minutes are in the packet. I move they were received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Law Enforcement Sheriff's Report. Sheriff Bryan.
Thank you, Mayor, County Commissioners. Your report's in your packet. A couple of, all the figures look pretty much on course for this time of year. A couple of things I want to go over real quick. I want to commend the WEMA, the Road Commission, everybody involved, and all the police departments working together during our ICE event, our cold weather event, and but it was a rough couple of days, and I want to commend all the men and women out there working in that cold weather. Second of all, we did have a meeting. A lot of y'all saw us, and I want to thank. I'm going to put Chief Chandler's chief hat on right now. And Commissioner Breeze and everybody involved in a meeting we had about Cedar Creek Marina. There was there's been some bad stuff happening down there, and we're all working together to try to remedy that. And I think we're working. What happened with that meeting? There's some good come out of it, and we're all working together to see if we can't get a better outcome with what's going on at Cedar Creek Marina. Unless there's any questions, I know y'all ready to go home. That concludes my report.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you for being here tonight, Sheriff, as well. Report from Education Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Education Committee met February 5th here at the courthouse. Minutes are in your packet. Move they be received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Director of Schools report, Mr. Travis Mayfield.
Thank you. You have Mr. Luttrell's report in your packet. Enrollment is up. It continues to climb. We're 20,815 currently. We did use 6 of our inclement weather days during the snow event. One thing that we did do differently, we went ahead and went back to school but couldn't run certain routes due to shaded areas, hills, ice-covered roads, and those things. So that's something we'll probably explore in the future when we have those extended snow periods where we've got some roads that are untravelable. We did name the principal for Central Pike Elementary. It's Amy Wilkins. She comes from Gladeville Middle School, where she was an assistant principal there. And then we received 2 grants, both of which will be used for tutoring. An innovative tutoring grant, $74,600, that will expand grades 6 through 8 tutoring. That will take place before and after school, and we should be able to get started by the 1st of March. And then an early literacy tutoring grant of $20,500, which will be primarily used for training of our teachers in order to better understand teaching strategies for early education. Any questions?
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Travis. Report from Public Buildings Committee, Commissioner Weathers.
Mr. Chairman, Public Buildings Committee met Thursday, February 5th, upstairs courtroom, conference room in the Wilson County Courthouse. The minutes are in your packet. I move that they received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Ag Center Management, Commissioner Scruggs.
No report.
Animal Control, Commissioner Breeze.
No report.
Audit, Commissioner Glover.
No report.
Broadband Access, Commissioner Franklin.
No report.
Development Tourism, Commissioner Brown.
The Development and Tourism Committee met on Thursday, February 5th. Those minutes are in your packet and will be received and filed.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Ethics, Commissioner Dow.
No report.
Finance, Commissioner Costley.
No report.
Health and Recreation, Commissioner Smith.
No report.
Insurance, Commissioner McFarland.
Injured met on February 3rd, 5 p.m. Minutes in your packet. Move be approved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Judicial, Commissioner Gentry.
Not here.
Not here. I'll go to Commissioner Kurtz.
No report.
No report? No, we got one.
I don't.
Met before
Yeah, I think we did.
last month's meeting.
Before last month's meeting. January 20th.
January 20th, minutes in your packet. Receive and file.
I move they receive and file.
All in favor say aye. Legislative Ad Hoc, Commissioner Costley.
No report.
Planning and Zoning, Commissioner McFarland. Rules, Commissioner Keith.
No report.
Urban Top Facility Board, Commissioner Scruggs.
Urban Top Facility Board met February the 5th. Minutes in your packet, they receive and file.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Financial Director's report, Mr. Maynard, you're down to one joke.
So my one joke then, if I just get one, at this point, I don't even care what I have to say.
I got you.
I'm kidding. Everything looks exactly where it should at this point. We're on course. Interest income, I was looking earlier, it's projecting, if you project out where we are right now to the end of the year, it's going to be in excess of 18 million. AFT is coming in good, sales tax is coming in good. Overall, I'm very happy with where we are. That concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Report from Budget Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Budget Committee met February the 5th and January the 20th. Is that right?
Yes.
Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. We're ready for resolutions.
Resolution 26-2-3, amend the budget and appropriation resolutions to make an appropriation from fund balance to insurance fund 266.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-4, amend the budget and appropriation resolution for line item transfers and information technology.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
22 yes, 2 no, 1 absent.
22, 2, and 1. Resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-5, reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation in the libraries.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Scruggs? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-6, amend the budget and appropriation resolution for line item transfers in the highway public works funds.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 23, 1 absent.
Nope, 1 abstain.
1 abstain, 1 absent. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-7, amend the budget and appropriation resolution for line item transfers in the Sheriff's Department.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-8, amend the budget and appropriation resolution for line item transfers in the Sheriff's Department.
Any discussion? Are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-9, reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation to the Sheriff's Department.
I got a motion. Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Please cast your vote. Sorry, my bad. I'm in the wrong gear. Please cast your vote. Y'all answered. McFarland, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Scruggs. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. My bad.
been a long night. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-10, reclassify funds from general fund to restrictive for tourism fund.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-12, reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation to WEMA.
Wait a minute, you skipped number 11.
Yep. Veterans appropriation.
Sorry.
I didn't have it on 11.
How many can help you?
Okay. Do we need to do 11 before 12? Yeah, go.
Be good.
Okay. Sorry. Resolution 26-2-11, reflect revenues received but not included in the restricted fund for Veterans Fund for the 2025 fiscal year, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolutions to make an appropriation to Veteran Services.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-12, reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation to WEMA.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-13, to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation from Capital Projects Fund to WEMA.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-14, amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation from general fund to WEMA.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-15, reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation from the ambulance fund to WEMA.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-16, resolution approving the Wilson County Board of Education Budget Amendment 2608.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion now? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Glover? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes.
Resolution 26-2-17, resolution approving Wilson County Board of Education Budget Amendment 2609.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record. 24-0, resolution passes. I don't have any more, do I?
I don't.
I would like to say this before I go to old business. Thank you to our security folks for being here tonight and doing the job you did. You did an outstanding job. Thank you for that. Thanks to the commission for listening tonight, being attentive to all of them that spoke tonight, and any old business to come before the body. Any new business? As I hear more details on this thing that we talked about tonight, I will shoot you texts, and then I'll leave it up to you on what you choose to do, okay? Any new business? One more motion?
We are adjourned.